From Radio Iowa Sports, this is the Scouting Report, an in-depth look at this week's prep and college games. Now from our studios in Des Moines, Todd Kim.
The Cyclones look to bounce back as they visit Colorado. The Hawkeyes are at Wisconsin under the lights, and a tough road test for the Panthers. And the high school season reaches week 7. That and more on the Scouting Report.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
Iowa State heads to Colorado as the 22nd-ranked Cyclones look to bounce back from their first loss at Cincinnati. A slow start proved costly, as well as an inability to stop the run, and ahead is another dual-threat quarterback. Colorado's Caden Salter has passed for more than 900 yards and also has 5 rushing touchdowns.
You know, obviously very skilled in terms of his ability to maneuver through the pocket as a pocket passer, and then I think also, you know, like you said, I mean, his ability in the quarterback run game, his ability to get outside the pocket and make plays. I think all those things show up, and, you know, again, you're talking about a guy that's got a lot of experience.
That's ISU coach Matt Campbell. It's a 2:30 kickoff. It'll be televised by ESPN. Iowa expects to have quarterback Mark Gronowski for tomorrow night's game at Wisconsin after he returned to practice following a bye week. A year ago, the Hawkeyes rushed for 329 yards and thumped the Badgers 42-10 in Kinnick Stadium. But don't look for a repeat of those numbers. The Badger defense is only giving up 75 yards of rushing per game.
The run stats have been really impressive, and there's a reason for it. They've not so much philosophically in terms of scheme, but more so in terms of personnel. I think have really bolstered themselves a little bit, and yeah, it's going to be tough to run the football against them. That's
Coach Kirk Ferentz, and with the Hawkeyes' lack of an explosive passing game, it figures to be low scoring. It's a 6:05 kickoff. It'll be televised by Fox Sports 1. The UNI Panthers have another difficult Missouri Valley test. They're on the road at second-ranked South Dakota State. Panther coach Todd Stepsis says while they know they're a decided underdog, the game also presents a big opportunity.
And so, you know, here's an opportunity to where all of a sudden, man, you get a great performance, you know, a great outcome in a underdog scenario. That's the thing that can now tip the scales in your favor, and you can really get some momentum generated.
Drake's on the road at Pioneer Football League preseason favorite, the University of San Diego. It's the first long trip for the Bulldogs, who also visit the East Coast.
That was, you know, one of the things that drew me to this opportunity was to have a true college experience, and we're going out to San Diego, and then a couple of weeks we go out to New York. So, you kind of get it all here in the Pioneer League.
That's Drake coach Joe Woodley. The Bulldogs opened the PFL race with a win over Valparaiso. Up next, high school football on the Scouting Report.
Okay, gotta be late. Gotta go. Where'd I put... wallet. Check. And, phone. Check. Keys. Check. Lunch. Check.
Checking for the things you need doesn't take long. But what about checking for your safety? Right now, 1 in every 5 vehicles on the road has an open safety recall. But it only takes seconds to check for open recalls on your car at checktoprotect.org. All you need is your vehicle identification number or license plate number. Your automaker may not have the right information to notify you about recalls by mail, especially if you recently moved or drive an older or used car. Checktoprotect.org is the quick, easy way to find out if your vehicle has an open safety recall and find the closest dealer who can make the repair for free.
Laptop. Check.
Before you go, take a minute. Visit checktoprotect.org. Check to Protect is a program of the National Safety Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
As the high school season reaches week 7, the stakes get higher as the playoff chase is underway. In Class A, the District 1 title is on the line as third-ranked Marcus Meriden Cleghorn Remsen Union hosts number 9 West Sioux. Doug Brook has a preview.
The MMCRU defense allows less than 150 yards per game in total offense. Coach Kyle Oswald talks about the challenge of slowing down a dynamic West Sioux offense.
They've got playmakers. They've got a lot of stat leaders in our district, and so, our defense is definitely going to be put to the test.
West Sioux coach Ryan Sweesaw says the team that executes the best will come out on top.
You can draw it all up all you want, but it still comes down to the Jimmies and Joes, and the kids got to make plays, and they have to execute that game plan for you, and I'm really confident that our kids are going to do that.
MMCRU has finished as the district runner-up each of the last 2 seasons and is looking for its first district title since 2015 when they went on to a perfect 13-0 season and an 8-player state championship. West Sioux had a string of 8 straight district titles from 2015 to 2022 and is looking to get back on top of the district standings for the first time since that 2022 season. For the Radio Iowa Scouting Report, I'm Doug Brook.
Also in Class A tonight, top-ranked West Hancock is at home against West Fork, and number 2 St. Ansgar is at home against Clayton Ridge. 8-player, high-scoring offenses collide when 7th-ranked Kingsley Pearson visits number 8 Grettinger Terrell Ruth Van Ayrshire. Nathan Poole reports.
GTRA comes into tonight's game undefeated at 6-0 and 4-0 in district play, with the offense clicking on all cylinders. The Titans are averaging 55 points per game and are led by senior quarterback Tegan Hansen, who leads the state in 8-player football with 1,602 passing yards. GTRA coach Todd Huff says Kingsley Pearson also has their own weapons on offense.
They're very similar to us on the offensive side of the ball, and they're not afraid to spread it out and get guys out in space, and they got some good athletes, and they do a good job of that too. So we're going to have to defensively get a lot of guys with the football and, kind of gang tackle. So that'll definitely be key.
At 6-1 and also 4-0 in district play, Kingsley Pearson has rattled off 6 straight wins and comes into tonight's game averaging 60 points per contest. Kingsley Pearson coach Travis Newman says the Panthers will have to find ways to slow down the Titan offense.
They're an explosive bunch. They got some really good athletes outside between Sweden and Snell. Hansen leads the state in passing yards. So they're going to be a very potent offense, a very tough offense to plan for. I think we have some good athletes that I think it'll be a fun matchup. At the end of the day, it's where you want to be. You want to be in these tough games.
The winner will be on track for a number 1 seed in the postseason. For the Radio Iowa Scouting Report, I'm Nathan Poole.
Also an 8-player tonight, top-ranked Bishop Garrigan is at Northwood-Kensett. Number 2 Iowa Valley visits English Valleys, while 3rd-ranked Gladbrook-Rhinebeck hosts Clarksville. There are a couple of rated matchups in Class 5A tonight. Number 1 Waukee Northwest is at 10th-ranked Southeast Polk, while 4th-ranked Johnston hosts number 7 Sioux City East. This season, Bex is recognizing student-athletes that are not only a star in athletics, but also a player that shows heart in school, at work, through the community, and in the ag industry. Besides competing in cross-country and track, Hallie Kelchin of Cascade is student body vice president, and through FFA helps with a kid's pedal pull.
We do have some little kids that can't reach the pedals, so we just kind of push them along with their tracker just to make them feel involved and happy. Sometimes they'll win a certificate. It's more just to get the more kids involved in agriculture and get our name out there for FFA.
BGM's Bo Burns is a 4-sport athlete and also served as a youth basketball referee, giving him a new appreciation for high school officials.
I'm sure youth basketball isn't as stressful as high school, but yeah, I definitely felt some pressure making some calls.
Audubon's Lane Elmquist enjoys showing livestock and says the commitment required is on par with athletics.
We get up early in the morning and work on them, feed them, rinse them, walk, all the things every morning and night, and it's honestly more work than sports that I'm involved in, and we put a lot of time and hours into it to hopefully get the results that we want.
As a standout distance runner, Sibley Ocheden's Ben Byers competes for individual medals, but he also enjoys the team aspect of track and cross country.
Oh, I love that part of it. Actually, a couple years ago, we ended up taking a whole team down to state for cross country, and that was like only the second time in our school's history, so that's fun. It's super hard work to get a whole team down there and qualify together, and it takes a lot of work.
Nominate a student athlete by searching Beck's Player with Heart. The rest of Week 7 is next on the Scouting Report.
Every day, farmers rise before the sun and put everything they have into a job so few can do. Their courage, resilience, and relentless work shape the legacies and future of our country. At Beck's, we're proud to stand alongside those who don't wait to see what the world will do. They act, they lead, they are the difference. Beck's honors your commitment to your land, family, and purpose. And while we can't predict what the future holds, there is one thing we can do to change it, and that's be the difference, right now, in every decision and every season.
At Beck's, we believe that true champions are not just made on the field, but also in the heart. The Beck's Player with Heart Scholarship celebrates high school student athletes who show dedication, teamwork, and leadership, both in sports and in their communities. We're honoring those who go above and beyond, demonstrating passion, perseverance, and a commitment to making a difference. Nominate a high school student athlete by searching Beck's Player with Heart.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
In Class 2A, the lead in District 3 is on the line tonight as second-ranked Osage visits Crestwood. Joe Haskovic has a preview.
The Green Devils are led by senior quarterback Quinn Street, who has completed 66% of his passes for 1,042 yards and 13 touchdowns while rushing for over 700 yards on the season as well. Crestwood head coach Justin Denner says that trying to slow down Street will be a key in tonight's game.
We know he's going to make plays, but we just have to try and limit the number of plays that he makes in order for us to be successful here tonight.
The Cadets come in tonight's contest on a 3-game win streak, and Coach Denner believes that the Cadets need to be more physical and efficient tonight to compete against the Green Devils.
So we've got to be more physical this week on the offensive side to help get our rushing attack going, and then in the passing attack, if we're doing our quick game, we've got to execute that at a high level. If we're going to try and take a shot, we've got to put ourselves in a position where our receivers can go and get it.
The winner takes sole possession of first place in the district race with 1 week remaining. Osage wraps up the regular season next week, hosting Forest City, while Crestwood plays host to Waukon. For the Radio Iowa Scouting Report, this is Joe Haskovic, KCZQ Cresco.
2 of the 4 teams tied at the top of the Class 2A District 8 standings collide when Grandview Christian hosts number 9 Van Meter. Grandview Christian coach John Safford says it's a huge opportunity for a program that in just a few years has gone from 8-player to Class 2A.
Last spring, when we got the schedule, we were like, oh, we're with Van Meter. And now we're like, hey, we're with Van Meter. And it's exciting. The guys are excited. They're like, hey, let's go get them. So it's a great opportunity at our place, senior night. The guys are excited and ready to go.
2A District 2, 4th-ranked Okoboji's at home against OABCIG. Noah Caruso reports.
The OABCIG Falcons come in with a 4-2 record and have won back-to-back games after losing 2 straight, with their most recent win coming against Esterville Lincoln Central 50-21. And with slight changes to the offense for OABCIG, it has led to a huge turnaround for transfer quarterback Rafe Jensen. In the back-to-back wins for OABCIG, the juniors thrown for 356 passing yards, completing 78% of his passes, with a passer rating of 213.9. As Larry Allen, head coach of the OABCIG Falcons, has been pleased with this improvement and is expected to be a key X factor in the game against Okoboji.
I think, we made some changes offensively, shortened up our passing scheme a little bit, and Rafe has really embraced that.
And for the Okoboji Pioneers, they come in with that flawless 6-0 record, but were battle-tested last week in a 34-31 victory in overtime over Southeast Valley, where Okoboji would score 14 points in the fourth quarter and prevailing in overtime. From Okoboji for KDSN Sports and the Radio Iowa Scouting Report, I'm Noah Caruso.
3A, 2 of the teams tied at the top of the District 3 race collide when 10th-ranked Davenport Assumption hosts number 8 Wahlert Catholic. Assumption coach Nate Gilbrace says the Knights need to win the line of scrimmage and make some key plays on defense.
It comes down to 5 or 6 plays, so whether that's getting 2 turnovers on defense, whether that's a turnover on downs, a pick, a fumble, we need to do something in that aspect. We have to force 2 turnovers in my mind.
Also in 3A, top-ranked Clear Lake is at home against Iowa Falls Alden. Second-ranked Solon hosts Washington. Class 4A, there's one rated matchup. It finds 4th-ranked Adel ADM visiting number 9 Glenwood. Top-ranked Cedar Rapids Xavier is at Waterloo East. And 1A, top-ranked Grundy Center's on the road at Central Springs. That's all for the Scouting Report. For Radio Iowa Sports, I'm Todd Kim.
It's Football Friday night, which means it's the Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday Night Tailgate Show. Sports Director Tyler Lance will talk to the coaches from West Bend Mallard and North Union about tonight's matchups. Here's Tyler with all the details from inside the locker room.
It's week 7 of the high school football season, and there's some major playoff implications to get into on this week's edition of the Friday Night Tailgate Show. West Bend Mallard is hosting North Union at Coy Goodchild Field, and the playoff implications could not be higher for either of these teams. For West Bend Mallard, it's pretty simple. You win this game, you are into the playoffs by merit of clinching a top 3 spot in the district. Meanwhile, for North Union, they must win tonight in order to avoid elimination. If they win tonight, then win in their final regular season game against Northwood-Kensett, the Warriors will be on to the playoffs, so massive implications for both teams here in tonight's game. We'll chat with both head coaches, Tyson Wirtz of West Bend Mallard and Matt Ernster of North Union, next on your Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Tired of being another boring and generic ride in the parking lot? If you want to stand out, call Raw Customs in West Bend today. From wheels, tires, fender flares, lift kits, running boards, bed covers, to upgrading to LED lighting. No matter what your preferences are, they have all the accessories you could possibly want with the quality and service you deserve. If you want to turn heads, call Raw Customs to upgrade your classic or muscle car, truck, side-by-side, and more at 515-887-2800.
Getting the Friday Night Tailgate Show underway here on Hometown and Home Country Radio as we're talking North Union football with head coach Matt Ernster. Coach, as always, thank you so much for joining us today on the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, Coach, going back to Friday night, the Warriors were defeated by Bishop Garrigan 54-7 in that game, and even though it wasn't the final score anyone on North Union wanted, did you still feel the team was able to take anything away from that and get better on the field after taking on the number 1 ranked team in the state?
Yeah, I think, like you said, the score's not what we wanted, the outcome's not what we wanted, obviously, but I thought for at least the first quarter and a half, I thought we really played with them pretty well. After that, it just kind of felt like, the size and talents and things that they do kind of took over a little bit and wore us out. But I thought, a takeaway from it was, after a week off of the bye week, I thought we came out still ready to play. That was kind of a concern, you kind of knocked the rust off and stuff. But our guys were ready to go, and physically, I thought we kind of passed the test for a while there. So I think those are positives for us to take out of it going into the next 2 weeks. I thought offensively, we moved the ball pretty well at times, and we're able to get some first downs and do some good things. Just not able to sustain stuff and then put points on the board like we wanted to. But there's a lot of good stuff that we can build on here over these next 2 weeks.
And Coach, of the way the final 2 weeks set up, right now North Union has a 2-3 record, but for the current standings in the district, if you win those last 2 games, you clinch a playoff berth. Obviously, this time of year must-win gets tossed around a lot, but it becomes more and more real the later in the season you get. So what's the mental approach right now with the idea that the last 2 weeks of the regular season almost become like playoff games for North Union?
Yeah, and that's kind of been the approach we're taking is, kind of building the importance of it and, looking forward to the challenge of it. But I think, also for us, it's a chance to kind of maybe get back on track a little bit. We got through what we maybe consider the heart of our schedule as far as, some really quality opponents there for a little bit. So, we're kind of excited about it. Like I said, the term must-win gets thrown out, but I think that makes it exciting, though, too, and a little pressure is good as we go through this.
We're chatting right now with North Union football coach Matt Ernster. Coach, as we move ahead to this week, obviously last week it was a bit of a struggle on offense taking on the Bishop Garrigan defense, but we've seen a lot of good things on offense this season throughout the year from the Warriors. So what do you guys need to do on offense this week to get back on track and put some points up against West Bend Mallard?
Yeah, I think, we talk about it a lot, but getting off to a good start I think is important. I thought, fundamentally we did some pretty good stuff. Friday, they were just able to kind of, physically at times shut that down. But as far as like the schematics and our kids knowing what to do, we're there. So, I think that's just kind of the big thing is staying on track with knowing where we're going, executing our plays well, and then when the opportunities kind of present themselves, we've got to finish drives, finish plays. And I think, we took steps in the right direction, just very tough sledding against Garrigan. So I think, against West Bend, it's kind of that same mentality, get out quick and just execute at a high level.
And, Coach, of course, one of the things that makes this week's game so exciting is not only is it a must-win type of situation for North Union, but I would imagine West Bend Mallard is probably approaching the game in much the same way as you guys are two of the teams battling for those playoff spots in that district. When you look at this West Bend Mallard Wolverine team, what are a few of the biggest things that jump out to you on tape?
Yeah, absolutely. I know they're approaching it in that same way. Coach will have those guys ready to go, and they're always tough down there. So I think that's kind of what jumps out at you right away when you watch them. Pretty physical, tough, hard-nosed kids. Want to run a lot of, similar things that we do as far as the pull schemes and down kick stuff. So, that's something that we're going to have to handle and be able to read and trust Keith to do that. So I think they present some challenges that way. They're very good at the play-action game, a lot like Garrigan was, and that presented problems for us Friday, so we've got to clean that up really fast. Defensively, they get downhill, they get after it. They're good tacklers in open space. So we know that it's going to be a challenge, not only just playing them, but going on the road as well. Kind of stacks it up, twice against us. So we have to play really good football on Friday.
Coach, wrapping up the interview for this week, what's the final message to the guys before Friday night's game against West Bend Mallard kicks off?
We talked about that must-win aspect of it, and I think, you can preach that all week, and sometimes you can put maybe a little bit too much pressure on you. A little bit's good, but you don't want to overthink it a little bit. So we'll talk a lot about, being ready for the moment, but ultimately once the ball's kicked off, we just got to play. We just got to read keys, trust what we're doing, execute what we know how to do, and have a little bit of fun. Go out there and see it as an opportunity to do something and put us in a position to put things, into another week, give us another week together at least, as far as getting the playoffs.
Coach, looking forward to seeing how this game plays out between North Union and West Bend Mallard. As always, thank you so much for the time today on the Tailgate Show.
Yeah, thank you.
That is the latest from North Union football coach Matt Ernster as the Warriors face a big-time game this week, taking on West Bend Mallard. We'll take a quick timeout. Speaking of West Bend Mallard, when we come back, we'll chat with their head coach Tyson Wirtz on the Friday Night Tailgate Show here on KLGA and KLGZ.
The Homestead Country Store invites you to stop by their location at 203 South Broadway Avenue in West Bend, where you're sure to find all your favorite candies and snacks. Let's not forget the ice cream. Do you need syrup for your pancakes or waffles? Check out their New York syrup. Homestead Country Store has a wide variety of supplies from King Arthur brand all-purpose and wheat flour to spices and herbs for your canning supplies. From our homestead to yours, you'll find what you need at the Homestead Country Store in downtown West Bend.
And the Friday Night Tailgate Show continues right now on Hometown at Home Country Radio as we're talking West Bend Mallard Wolverine football with head coach Tyson Wirtz. Coach, as always, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate coming on. We appreciate you having us.
And, Coach, we're now getting down to crunch time in the season here for the final 2 weeks of the regular season. What's your guys' message to the team after last week's game as you look to flush that and then move on to a very important district game this week?
Yeah, it was a frustrating game just because of how the outcome went. We had some guys that were out injured, so that definitely played into it. But just, challenges that we ran into last week. And Kingsley has been a really good team this year. They've cracked into the top 10 this week. So it's not a loss that you get too worked up about, but we definitely have a lot of little things we wanted to clean up. Every game we want to focus and we want to win, but it was a non-district game, so we really did try to turn the page really fast and say, okay, that game's passed, nothing we can do about it. We got to turn around and focus on North Union and Garrigan the last 2 weeks because those are two very good teams that we got to get ready for.
And, Coach, getting right into this week, it's a win and you're guaranteed to be in the playoffs scenario based on the district standings. A loss and things get a little more complicated after that, but obviously if you take care of business tonight against North Union, the Wolverines are in the playoffs. So how are you approaching this game mentally if the team knowing their goals of going to the playoffs are in front of them, but at the same time not wanting to make it too big of a moment?
It's definitely a line you walk, and I think generally we've always tried to. We do want to elevate the moment to what it is. Like, this is a big deal. It is a big game. You kind of see that in life a lot of times. Like, we don't want to make things seem less than they are. So, we're not sugarcoating it too much with the guys. We are telling them, like, this is a big game. We got to come focus. We got to come get after it this week. And fortunately, they responded pretty well. We had a good week of practice, and I think they're all kind of bought into, yep, this is it. This is our chance here. Let's go get it. So, yeah, we do kind of a little bit say don't make it bigger than it needs to be, but yeah, we do want them to know that it's a big deal because, there's big moments in life, and sometimes you just have to prepare for big moments in life.
And, Coach, taking a look at North Union, they've done some good things offensively with a really big offensive line and some solid play from their quarterback and running back. What are some things you guys need to do defensively this week to contain a North Union offense?
Yeah, they're definitely settling into their game, and I mean they came down to 8-man this year, so there's always a little bit of a growing pain. But they have a staff that's coached in the 8-man game a lot, so it's not like they have zero experience with it. But you can tell they're settling into their power run game. They're definitely getting to more of that sets where they've got 2 tight ends or they've got a wing back and blocking back, and so definitely need to be ready up front physically, and we got to be prepared for a team that can hit us in the mouth. But then understanding that they've got a really good quarterback too. He's an athlete in space and he can zip the ball down the field, so we can't totally sell out on the run, because if we do, they'll play action, they'll pass right over the top of us. So it's another week of disciplined football. Do your job, focus on your responsibility, and show up physically every play.
We're talking right now with West Bend Mallard football coach Tyson Wirtz. Coach, offensively, obviously it'll help to have a few guys back from injury this week, but overall they know they're going to have to be ready to put some points on the board in this one. What do you guys need to do to have a productive night offensively against North Union?
We've got to fix a lot up front. That was one of our big problems against Kingsley Pearson, is we didn't get any movement up front. We kind of had a few plays early in the game that we thought we had the right scheme and the right stuff drawn up, and we were picking up a few chunks early in the game, but then they adjusted to it, and we kind of struggled after that. So we need to get more consistency, and like you said, getting some guys back will help us. We've got some guys back on the front line. We've also got some guys back in the backfield that we didn't have last week, so that plays into it. And just believing and having that level of confidence, I think that's one of the challenges as a coach that you face, is getting your players to believe that they're every single play going to square up and go beat the guy that's in front of them, because it's a tough physical game, and if you have any hesitation, you just really don't have a chance. You've got to be able to get off the ball and get after it.
Coach, final question for this interview. Obviously going to be a playoff-type atmosphere at Coy Goodchild Field with the last home game of the regular season. Of course, playoff implications on the line in this battle. So, with that being said, what's the final message to the guys before they go out onto the field for kickoff?
Yeah, it's really a lot of ways to leave it all in the field type of game. I mean, if you want to extend your season and keep playing football, this is how we do it. So we've set our goals. They know what the goals are. We got some wins earlier this year that put us in position, and we got a loss in district that kind of took us a little bit out of it, but it's still all in front of us. And so, it's their season. We as coaches say that a lot. Like, we love them, we support them, we're going to do everything we can to help our guys be successful. But at the end of the day, it's their team. It's not our team. It's not about us. I mean, we're just a bunch of old guys having a blast coaching high school sports. So we wanted to be about them and have them realize this is for you. Step up and make it happen.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing how the Wolverines do against North Union in this one. Thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck in this matchup.
Thanks, Tyler. We appreciate it.
That's West Bend Mallard football coach Tyson Wirtz as the Wolverines face a win and their end game tonight against the North Union Warriors. That will wrap things up for this week's edition of the Friday Night Tailgate Show. When we come back, pregame coverage of your matchup on KLGA and KLGZ.
It's time to hit the field. That's it for Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Get ready for football with the Garrigan Golden Bear pregame show. Brought to you by your Edward Jones representatives Bruce Keith, Jerry Soka, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. We've got interviews with coaches, the starting lineups, Kimnaw Auto Center's keys to the game, the Grassmasters field conditions report, Algona Plumbing and Heating's game time temperature, Ice on Thornton's coin toss, and more as we preview tonight's matchup. The pregame is also brought to you by Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare, JDR Seeds of Wesley, Tom Eichen Sales, your store in the country, Banwork Trucking of Odison, Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal, family owned since 1913, and Algona Feed Store, livestock, dog, and cat food. Here's Tyler Lance on the Golden Bear Edward Jones pregame show.
Hi again, everybody. Tyler Lance with you here on Home Country Radio KLGZ, as it's been perfection so far this season for the Bishop Garrigan football team. A 6-0 start, undefeated and unchallenged. Tonight, the Golden Bears take their show on the road for one final time in the regular season, taking on the 4-2 Northwood-Kensett Vikings. There's been a lot to like, a lot of things that have been very impressive so far this season about the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears, but one thing that stood out in the past couple of weeks has been the defense. It has been locked down defensively so far for the Golden Bears. In fact, they haven't allowed an offense of a touchdown by the opponents for 10 straight quarters. The only score allowed last week was a kickoff return touchdown by North Union in that 54-7 win. So it's been a stingy defense so far for the Golden Bears, and a defense that has held every opponent besides St. Edmund to 2.5 yards per rush or less on the season. Now, the Golden Bears tonight will face a Northwood-Kensett Viking team that ran the ball extremely well last week. They defeated Tripola 58-31 and went for 496 yards of the ground, averaging over 14.5 yards per carry, and 8 of their touchdowns in that game came on the ground. So the Vikings will try to continue that running game tonight, running that triple option, a little bit of a veer tonight against Bishop Garrigan. So once more, it's another new offense, the type of team that you haven't seen yet this season that presents a new challenge for this Golden Bear defense. But the Bishop Garrigan defense only allowing 6.6 points per game. That's number 2 in the 8-man class, and they'll continue their excellent performance tonight against a 4-2 Northwood-Kensett team that has their most wins since they went 6-3 in the 2021 season, the last time the Vikings were able to make the playoffs. A lot of interesting things going on around the district tonight, but in this district, Bishop Garrigan stands above the rest. They are the only team that is undefeated in district play right now in this current district. Riceville, of course, is second in the district, and West Bend Mallard and North Union, they're playing tonight, battling for third place in the district, but the Golden Bears, they're trying to maintain that top seed in the state, make sure they secure home field throughout the playoffs up until the Uni Dome, and they've got to take care of business tonight here at the Northwood-Kensett Vikings. We'll continue on for Edward Jones pregame show. Coming up, we'll hear from coaches from both teams. John Kesselring filling in on the Bishop Garrigan side of things here in just a little bit. We're also going to check in with Cade Hengesteg of Northwood-Kensett as well here on your Edward Jones pregame show. It's all coming up next on KLGZ 98.5 FM, AM 1600, and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cooks for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cooks will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Is your student athlete on the injured list? We can help. This is Wendy Wagner, physical therapy assistant at Kasuth Regional Health Center. As a former student athlete and coach, I want to help you get back in the game feeling healthy and injury-free. Our staff works closely with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all our area athletes this season. We will be cheering for you.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
And your Edward Jones pregame show continues right now on Home Country Radio KLGZ as we have John Kesselring filling in on the pregame this week. John, first of all, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes here today to talk some Golden Bear football.
Thanks, Tyler, and thank you guys for all the wonderful coverage you give us throughout the year. So it's appreciated all across the state for all the coverage you give us and all the people near and far who are Bishop Garrigan supporters who can tune in and follow us. So it's been wonderful.
Well, John, we appreciate the kind words, and with that, let's get into the latest here for the Golden Bears as you guys were able to go on the road last week and defeat North Union by a final score of 54-7. And one of the things that kind of stood out about that game, you were facing a North Union team that had maybe a little bit more size up front, a little more size in their offensive backfield than some of the other teams that you've seen so far this season. So I'd imagine your guys are maybe looking forward to that challenge, a little more physical, hard-hitting kind of game. So how did you feel the guys were able to deal with the physicality of that game against North Union and ultimately come out with that victory?
You know, it's a rivalry game. You know, we play them in everything, and I think that added, you know, their first year in 8-man, I think that really added another layer to the rivalry amongst the schools. And, our kids were excited to play them. I think they were excited to play us. They're a very good football team. I know they've had some hiccups along the way, but they were a really good football team, and we knew they were going to be a really good football team on the road. It was a tough environment. So they have great coaches over there too, and so really our kids knew the task at hand and did a great job on Friday night. But North Union was a great test for us.
And, Coach, looking what the Golden Bears did offensively, not just against North Union, but the past couple of weeks, it's been fun to watch the offense open up a little bit here for the passing game. We've seen season-high passing yardage totals from Tate Furch the past couple of weeks. And as you know, the Golden Bears, of course, they can ground and pound. That's always the case. But this maybe isn't the Golden Bear team of 10 years ago where it would only be ground and pound. You guys have a really good quarterback who can push the ball down the field as well. So, specifically as it comes to the passing game, why do you feel that's come together so well here, especially the past 2 weeks?
It's easy when you have a kid like Tate Furch, right? I mean, that makes it a lot easier to do a lot of things. I mean, Tate's a tremendous football player, and this is his third year starting, and he's always had the capability of doing this. We've always had a lot of skilled players in this program, and so, we're at our best when we're balanced. We really are, and his ability to run the football, I think early on in the year we used him to run the football quite a bit more. That has then been a benefactor. Ethan Marshall's been a benefactor of that a little bit. Now his ability to run the football, because there are more eyes on Tate, and then as it progresses now, when you have kids like Michael Joyce and Dalton Clens and Weston Rosenmeyer and Madden Miller and Kyle Borman and all those kinds of skill kids that we have here at Garrigan, it wouldn't be in our best interest to just feed one person and let one person carry the ball and do all those things. So we are really at our best when we're balanced, and Tate gives us a really good opportunity and flexibility to do a lot of different things.
We're talking Bishop Garrigan football right now. If John Castlering as the Golden Bears take a 6-0 record into their matchup this week against the Northwood-Kensett Vikings. Coach, final 2 weeks here of the regular season. You guys are wrapping up here for a pair of district games, trying to finish off the regular season 8-0. So getting into this week's matchup, what have been a few of the biggest things that have jumped out to you in scouting the Vikings heading into this one?
They're 4-2, and I think that sometimes can be overlooked, and they're a good football team. They run the veer and they run option. You don't see that a lot anymore, especially our kids haven't really seen that. That's not the world they've grown up in. So that provides challenges for us defensively. You have to be really disciplined. You have to be really gap sound. You have to be really good at tackling. They're going to stress us on defense quite a bit with this. And then, they don't throw it a ton. When they do, they're very good at it. So, our kids have to be disciplined, probably more so than they've been in a long time. And offensively, I think one thing they've shown, they're going to work really hard at taking away what you're really good at. So the box is going to be full. Are we going to be capable of continuing to spread the ball out? Can we put people in position to make impactful and big plays? And I think that will be just a good chess match between the two of us.
It certainly will, Coach, and one thing that teams always talk about as we get towards the end of the regular season is you've got to continuously improve a little bit each week, especially when playoff time's around the corner. You want to see this team playing sharp and really playing playoff-caliber football. So, with that being said, what are a couple of areas that you guys have focused on, really getting tuned up here as we head into the final couple weeks of the regular season?
I would say the first 4 or 5 games of the year really, penalties were not a problem for us. I would say the last 2 weeks, we've had some smaller, and we've had a couple false starts, we've had a couple holdings, and that has been something that we have worked really hard this week on cleaning up. Just the devil's in the details there a little bit, and so we've worked really hard on that side of things, on penalties on both sides of the ball. Our special teams, we feel like, has gotten exponentially better from where we were at even a year ago at this time. We've really found Gage Myers really come on as a really good PAT kicker. When you don't always have to go for 2. That's been an added bonus for us. That's an area we're going to continue to work on. And I think taking care of the football. I mean, that sounds as cliche can get, but we have done a really good job of taking care of the football. It is a high priority for us. So penalties and turnovers and making sure our special teams are sound. That's really the 3 areas that we have really attacked this week. Because as the teams get, as the season moves forward and there's less and less teams left at the end, those are really the 3 big areas that really start to delineate between where you want to be and where you don't want to be.
The Golden Bears are on the road here for the second to last week of the regular season, taking on Northwood-Kensett. Coach, wrapping up the interview for today, what do you see as the biggest deciding factor?
Our ability to be we disciplined enough to handle what they're going to do offensively? I really think that will be the key in the game. We know we can get our skill guys in space on offense. We know, as you kind of said, our ability to run the football has always been there. Our ability to move the football and do those things have always been good. Are we disciplined enough to, when you run the veer and run the option, you can hold the ball for half of a quarter at a time. Are we disciplined enough to then, when we get our opportunity to take advantage of it, are we disciplined enough to get a stop on third down? Are we disciplined enough to tackle when we need to tackle somebody? So that's really what we're excited to see our kids do. We're excited to, they've had 2, 3, 4 days of really good practice here this week. It's been a great week for us. So we're excited to watch them perform. We're really, really proud of the group we have. We're really proud of how hard they work, the kids they are, and so we're excited for just another opportunity to show what we can do.
Coach, we appreciate your time today on the pregame show and wish you best of luck this week against Northwood-Kensett.
Thanks, Tyler, and always, Tyler, thank you for everything you guys do for us. We appreciate it more than you know.
That's Bishop Garrigan assistant coach John Kesselring filling in here on our Edward Jones pregame show as we preview the Golden Bears matchup against the Northwood-Kensett Vikings on KLGZ Home Country Radio. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll chat with Viking head coach Kate Hengesteg on 98.5 FM and AM 1600.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. A snack they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid, one thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
And getting ready for high school football action here on Home Country Radio KLGZ as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the Northwood-Kensett Vikings. And we're joined right now by head coach Kate Hengesteg. Coach, first of all, we appreciate your time today on the pregame show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's begin, Coach, by talking about last week as your guys pick up their second consecutive win, defeating Tripola by a final score of 58-31. What did you feel some of the biggest keys last week for the Vikings' victory were?
I think offensively it was probably our best blocking job we've done all year. We do blocking grades every year at the end of the games, and every single guy had their season high, and the direct correlation there is what happens when you block, you score points. So I think that was the biggest key. Defensively, we kind of gave up too much right up the middle, but when they tried to go lateral with us, we did a good job shutting that down, and I just think our guys, this is the most focused they had been all year, and it's the best we've executed on both sides of the ball.
And, Coach, let's talk more about that rushing attack from last week. 496 yards on the ground and 8 touchdowns are obviously impressive numbers, but like you talked about, it all starts with the guys up front. Can you expand a little bit more on that rushing attack from last week and what sort of led to that explosion for the Vikings?
Like I said, it was probably our best blocking we've done all year, and our guys, they stayed low and they stuck on blocks, and they didn't block for just 2 or 3 seconds. Many of them were blocking to the whistle, and that's why we were able to break open such long touchdown runs. And Alex, he's a senior quarterback, but this is kind of his first year of getting a full season at quarterback and getting a lot of game reps in it. I know he practiced it a little bit before I got here as a freshman and sophomore, but last year he was kind of a fullback for us, and the fullback's job was to pretty much get the ball, put his head down, run forward. this year Alex has got to do a lot more complicated stuff like reading defenses, whether it's pass coverage or reading a D end or a D tackle and knowing when to pitch the ball, and he's done a really good job picking that up. He's very smart in that respect. And then, Colton Robinson, our halfback in the backfield, I've kind of done a poor job of getting him the ball at times, and this time he took advantage of every single opportunity. 10 carries for however many yards he had was insane and incredible. He's a hard runner. And then Brady Tufte, he runs hard too, but, those guys wouldn't have the success that they have if the O-line didn't block as good as they did Friday night, and that's going to be the key for us from here on out.
And, Coach, now you guys head into the last home game of the season, which means you're also celebrating senior night as well. With 8 seniors on your guys' roster, how big has their leadership been in you guys getting to this 4-2 record?
We have 8 seniors, 5 of which were 4-year seniors, and then 3 of them decided to come out for their last senior year, and those 3 have really contributed. They've all take on leadership roles a little bit, and they don't necessarily do it by speaking after each practice or giving these big rah-rah speeches. They just lead by example. They put in the work. They put in the work this summer, in the off season, going to the weight room and trying to improve their knowledge of the game. But then also, each week at practice, they demand more of themselves, and that's what we're trying to set as a culture here. And honestly, I don't know if I could have asked for a better group to set that culture other than the senior group. They are just incredible at doing that. They know that when we're on the field, it's about football, whether it's at practice or at the games. They try to portray that to the younger guys, and I think the younger guys are keying on that.
Coach, now for this week's matchup, you guys get a big test as you welcome the number 1 ranked Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears to your field. What are some things that have jumped out to you so far looking at the Golden Bear tape leading into this one?
They make very few mistakes. They're very well coached and disciplined. They stay on blocks. They obviously got some size there, but we played a team last week that had some size, and when you watch the 2 tapes, it's just different. You can tell Garrigan really enjoys punishing people at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. They want to be physical. Quarterback is obviously incredibly. He throws a great ball, but also he runs really well. And plus that 11 Marceau, he's a hard runner too. But it starts up front for them. They are extremely good in the trenches, and that's where the game is going to be won or lost. And we obviously know the tough test coming up, but my message to the guys has been I'd rather play the number 1 team in the state each week than the worst team in the state, strictly because this team can make you better if you choose that route. So we're looking to get better, and we want to keep it competitive. We know what it's going to require for us to do that, and we appreciate the test.
Coach, along those same lines, as we wrap up the interview for today, what do you see as 1 or 2 of the biggest keys for the Vikings this week?
I'm going to start with up the middle runs. We struggled with that last week against Tripola. They obviously have a good backfield with that Heim kid and then Urbanek as their quarterback, but we just gave up too much up the middle. And I think, even though quarterback's got a lot of passing yards, the attempts are decently low. They want to run the ball still. So we got to stop the run and then, cover the pass. That's going to be the second key there. So defensively, we just want to be able to stop the run or contain it. And then offensively, we got to just build off of the performance we had last week. Stick on blocks, stay on blocks, and not turn the ball over. That was key for us last week too. Was that we didn't put the ball on the ground or we didn't throw an interception. So take care of the football, stay on blocks, just play our game.
That's Northwood-Kensett Viking head coach Cade Hengestag of his pregame thoughts as they get ready to take on the number 1 ranked Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Welcome back for more of your Edward Jones pregame show next on Home Country Radio KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones Financial Advisors. Member SIPC.
Kasuth Regional Health Center is your home for recovery care. I'm occupational therapist Ben Krause, ready to help you with recovery care. We work with a wide range of patients, helping them get back to the tasks of daily living and doing the things they want to do. Come home to recover with Kossuth Regional Health Center. Find us online at krhc.com or call 295-2451.
Kossuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cook's for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cook's will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Welcome back to your Edward Jones pregame show, brought to you by your representatives in Algona, as they are Bruce Keefe, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. Right now, time to take a look at the starting lineups as the 6-0 Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the 4-2 Northwood-Kensett Vikings. First, when Northwood-Kensett has the ball and Bishop Garrigan's on defense, the Vikings are led by their senior quarterback, Alex Tiedemann, who has thrown for 349 yards this season and gone for 672 on the ground. The Viking offense also features halfback Colton Robinson, a senior who's rushed for 589 yards, averaging nearly 9 yards per carry. Their fullback is the freshman Brady Tufte. On the offensive line at left guard is the 6'3", 225-pound Brady Christensen. At the right guard, the 6'1", 185-pound sophomore Aiden Schutz, and the center, the 6'2", 170-pound junior Carson Tufte. The two tight ends, the 5'11", 175-pound freshman Jackson Ryerson, as well as the 6'3", 190-pound senior Bowen Bainey. Meanwhile, for the Bishop Garrigan defense, up front on the lines, they have the defensive end senior Carter McGregor at 5'11", 175. Carter Schwab, the leading tackler and leading sack getter so far for Bishop Garrigan, at 6'2", 245 pounds for the senior. The nose guard is the sophomore Carson Kramer at 6'4", 260 pounds. Linebackers for Bishop Garrigan, the junior Michael Joyce, who's picked off 4 passes so far this season, the 6'2" junior, as well as the 6'2", 230-pound senior Ethan Marceau with 20.5 tackles, 2 sacks, and a pick for the Golden Bear defense. In the secondaries at the corner spots, you have the junior Dalton Clens, number 16, and the senior number 7 Tate Furch. Furch has also intercepted 4 passes, while CJ McGregor, the sophomore, is the safety for Bishop Garrigan. Meanwhile, on offense for the Golden Bears, they're led by their 5'11", 170-pound quarterback Tate Furch. 15 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and 8 scores on the ground so far this season for Tate Furch. His tailback is Ethan Marceau, the bruising senior with 41 career rushing touchdowns. Fullback Carter McGregor, a senior who scored once on the ground so far this season. Left to right on the offensive line, the 6'2", 245-pound senior Carter Schwab, the 6', 215-pound senior Caden Graves, and the 6'3", 265 junior Nate Learer. Starting tight end, Weston Rosenmeyer, a junior who caught 2 touchdown passes last week, and the starting wide receiver, Michael Joyce, with 4 touchdown receptions on the season. Defensively for Northwood-Kensett, at the end spots, we'll have the junior Carson Tufte and the senior Alec Dukeman. Dukeman, the leading sack getter in the district so far this season. Their nose tackle, the senior Brady Christensen. Linebackers tonight for Northwood-Kensett, the sophomore Aiden Schutz and the senior Alec Tiedemann. In the secondary, the quarterbacks Hazen Jacobson, a senior, Bowen Bainey, a senior, and the safety Colton Robinson, another senior. Starting lineups tonight for the Northwood-Kensett Vikings and Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears as we take a timeout on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keefe, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service steel products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eisen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. It's an act they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid. One thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
At Kemna Auto Center, they understand that you have no shortage of options when it comes to purchasing or servicing your car. They're your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, and Chrysler makes and models. Plus, they also offer an extensive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Serving you with a dedicated sales and finance team, along with world-class service technicians that are passionate about keeping your ride in top shape. Visit their showrooms today for an experience you deserve. Kemna Auto Center in Algona.
Let's get to the Kemna Auto Center keys to the game. Kemna's an experience you deserve as we continue on with our Edward Jones pregame show. We'll keep it short here tonight as kickoff is rapidly approaching, but for Northwood-Kensett, they run the veer, that triple option offense for the Vikings. So something Bishop Garrigan hasn't seen so far this season. That is often going to leave an unblocked defensive end. That means the end play is going to be key. The Northwood-Kensett quarterback's going to read what the Garrigan ends are doing and then decide what to do for the ball after that. So if you're the Garrigan defensive ends, force everything back inside, force the Vikings to run into that teeth of the defense, where you've got the 260-pound nose guard Carson Kramer, and then your big linebacker, even Marshall, to fill as well. That's the Kemna key to the game for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Quick timeout, field condition report after this.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service still products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more.
All right, folks, we're going to fade out of that here and get to tonight's kickoff. They're going to start at 5 minutes early on me here tonight, so we'll get to the rest of those pregame spots here as the game goes on tonight. But it's time for our opening kickoff. 61 degrees is your Algona Plumbing and Heating game time temperature. The first night that feels like fall. Bishop Garrigan's hard-hitting kicker, Ethan Marceau, will kick left to right on the radio dial as Northwood-Kensett wins your eyes on Forrington coin toss, and they elect to receive the football. The kick is away, near side of the field. It dies at the 10-yard line, picked up by Bainey. Returns towards the middle. He's to the 15, trying to get to the outside. He tries to outrun McGregor. He's hit around the 20-yard line and knocked down just outside the far numbers. Chased down by Carter Sink on the play as he ran laterally a long way to get that return off. Your field condition report for tonight brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care provider, as Grassmasters is your field condition report sponsor. This field probably the most torn up, the ones Garrigan's played on so far this season. A lot of divots out there, full season worth of work, even outside of the numbers as well. You're seeing a lot of indentations and divots, so I would expect to see more of that here tonight as the Vikings come out on offense for their first drive. Tiedemann, the starting quarterback, under center, and there's movement on the right side. An early false start as Bowen Bainey, the tight end, jumped off sides, and the Vikings will go back 5 yards to their own 15-yard line. Bishop Garrigan has broken out the gold pants for tonight's game. First time in quite a while we've seen those. I believe last time we saw those was their last regular season loss. Golden Bears are on a 21-game regular season win streak, and that last regular season loss was the season opener of the state title year when they were defeated by St. Ed's. But gold pants are back out tonight with the white jersey tops, black numerals front and back. Vikings the blue uniforms, white numerals. As Tiedemann comes out underneath center. Almost got Garrigan to jump that time as Tiedemann reads. That play got blown up on the backfield. He pitches to the outside to Tufty. Tufty will get run out of bounds around the 15-yard line as he was pursued by Michael Joyce on the play. Boy, that was a crushing blow up the middle as Garrigan's line was in the backfield and nearly knocked Tiedemann's lineman back into his lap. But Tiedemann pitched that to the outside to his fullback, Brady Tufty. That avoids a disastrous play, but it'll be second down and 14 for the Vikings, who move right to left on the radio dial. Bishop Garrigan, number 2 in the state in points per game allowed, just 6.6. Only Woodbine better in the 8-player class. The Vikings, number 45 in the 8-player class, scoring 25.3 points per game. They're averaging just over 312 yards of offense. Tiedemann will read. He'll keep it, trying to squeeze for the middle, and he is submerged. A wall of defenders getting down there. Shooting in was the defensive end, Carter McGregor, to make the stop for Bishop Garrigan, and it sets up a third down and 13 for Northwood-Kensett. Well, you hear us talking about the veer the Vikings run, the option they run. Like I said, Golden Bears will try to force everything inside to the meat of that defense.
Of course, the Vikings try to run to the outside. Golden Bears still have plenty of speed out there, focusing on tackling on the outside, but their defensive backs here tonight. But you want to limit the Vikings here and keep them behind the sticks like they are tonight, and getting those negative plays with the push these guys up the middle are going to get here tonight. A big way to do that. Kramer and McGregor have their hands on the ground. Schwab lines up over the left guard as well. Tiedemann underneath center, the senior quarterback. He turns, and he gives it off. Robinson runs out to the 20-yard line, and he is spun around. He got past the initial line of scrimmage, but he is stopped right there. Carter Schwab on the stop for Bishop Garrigan, and it's 4th down and at 9 for Northwood-Kensett. All of their runs on that drive going in between the guards. Or check that, 2 of the 3 runs going between the guards. Had the one pitch to the outside, but the Golden Bears contained it all, and now it is time to punt for Northwood-Kensett. Bowen Bainey is their punter, averaging 39 yards per kick. He will boot it away right to left as Michael Joyce has his heels back at the 26-yard line for Bishop Garrigan. The snap is back by Tiedemann, and McGregor almost got his hand in there again. The ball flutters towards the sidelines. It lands well out of bounds. Bishop Garrigan should be at least close to midfield after that kickoff, or the punt, I should say, went out of bounds. Boy, McGregor, that middle rusher, Bishop Garrigan, reached around his blocker, almost got his bear claw in there, and this will be great starting field position for Bishop Garrigan. Plus side of the field, they will be at the Northwood-Kensett 34-yard line to begin their drive, and that's where this explosive, high-octane offense comes out, led by the cool, calm, and collected quarterback, Tate Furch. Ethan Marceau will be the tailback for Bishop Garrigan. With 14 rushing touchdowns this season, as Furch is underneath center. Graves the snap. Furch with the handoff. Marceau picks away from the left side and almost broke into the open there. It was a saving tackle by Tiedemann about 7 yards down the field after a nice pickup by Ethan Marceau. But Marceau breaks that touchdown, and he is running to the house on the first play from scrimmage for Bishop Garrigan. Hayden Miller is the tight end on the right side of the line. Weston Rosenmeyer the tight end on the left, as Bishop Garrigan will set up Carter McGregor at that wing-back spot, lined up behind his left guard, Carter Schwab. Furch, play action fake. He will throw down the middle of the field. Rosenmeyer wide open again, and he'll walk in for the touchdown. Tate Furch to Weston Rosenmeyer has been a magical combination these past couple of weeks. Those two hooked up for over 100 yards last week. A couple of touchdowns for Rosenmeyer. He gets his 5th touchdown of the season right there. And Tate Furch puts that one on the money again. Second play of the game. And Bishop Garrigan sends that one down the field for a score. Golden Bears bring the swing gate in here, as Furch will hold for the extra point. Gagemeyer to kick it. The snap is a little high. Furch puts it down. That kick may have gotten tipped on the way out as it goes underneath the crossbar. No good. 6-0 Bishop Garrigan as we take a quick timeout with 9:48 left in the first on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
With fall starting, so is seasonal allergies. This is Dr. John C. Kortenberg at Eyes on Thornton. Do your eyes itch? Are they irritated or watery? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you may benefit from a prescription for your ocular allergies. Why not feel better today? Call to schedule an appointment at Eyes on Thornton at 395-EYES. That's 395-3937.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
As we come back, Ethan Marceau boots a touchback all the way down to the Viking goal line. I'll keep things quick for us here tonight, but we'll get all those commercials in for you here on KLGZ Home Country Radio. 9:48 on the clock as the Vikings begin their drive, moving right to left on the radio dial. Tiedemann reads, gives it to middle to Robinson. Robinson spins his way forward, and he's out just shy of the 20-yard line. He'll pick up 4 on that run. So usually Robinson's been their pitchback. He'll line up on the outside, but so far today they've actually lined up Brady Tufte, who's normally been their dive back here in the veer. They're lining Tufte up on the outside, Robinson behind the quarterback, as we'll see if they continue to do that going forward. But a 4-yard pickup for Northwood-Kensett, setting up 2nd down and 6. Tiedemann coming back out, senior quarterback for the Vikings, has only thrown the ball 38 times coming into tonight, completing 17 of those passes. Vikings average about 48 passing yards, 264 rushing yards per game. This time an I formation for Northwood-Kensett. It's a midline read as Tiedemann will pitch it late. Ball rolls to the boundary, and it goes out of bounds. Are they waving that incomplete, or are they saying that was a lateral? Well, Tiedemann faked to the fullback. That time it was Tufty lined up at the fullback spot. He ran to the outside, then tried to pitch it late. And it'll bring up a third down and about 9 yards to go. So they will say that was a backwards pitch that went out of bounds, losing Northwood-Kensett 3 yards. And the Vikings continue to feel the pressure that is applied by this Bishop Garrigan defensive line. Big-time size advantage here. If you look at the line for Northwood-Kensett, left to right they go 225, 170, and 185. Bishop Garrigan has some much bigger size there along the defensive line and in the linebackers as well. This time Bainey is split out to the right as Tiedemann's underneath center. Here's the snap. Tiedemann back to throw. Tiedemann had that pass tipped in the air, and it's picked off. It's picked up by Moose. Carson Kramer has it at the 10-yard line. The nose guard makes the pick for Bishop Garrigan, and everyone's spilling off the bench to mob Carson Kramer. How about that, folks? Bishop Garrigan starts the drive inside the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt, as Tiedemann throws his 4th pick of the season. Carson Kramer, for a moment he'll never forget. The only thing that would make that better is if he would have run it to the house and done a touchdown dance afterwards. Under 9 minutes left to go in quarter number 1. Excellent starting field position for the Bishop Garrigan offense, moving towards the right. Power I formation. Tate Furch lines up behind his center, Caden Graves. He'll give it to Marceau. Marceau started left, goes back to the middle, lowers the boom, dives towards the end zone. He's in for a 10-yard touchdown. 3 offensive plays, 2 touchdowns for the Golden Bears. Marceau with number 15 of the season, and it's 12-0 right off the bat. Good patient running there by Ethan Marceau. Didn't immediately run into the back of his left guard. He waited for the blocks to develop. Started towards the left, shifted a little bit towards his right after that, and then went through the crease into the end zone, making it look easy. That is a bruising runner. That's a blue-collar runner as well, who brings his hard head and lunch pail to every single game. As Bishop Garrigan will go after the points here, they'll go for 2. The shifty sophomore C.J. McGregor ready to take the direct snap. Graves will snap it. McGregor runs towards the left. McGregor sees a wide-open hole along the left side, and he can walk into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. It is Bishop Garrigan 14, Northwood-Kensett nothing on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Bishop Garrigan 14, Northwood-Kensett nothing. And over on kick by Ethan Marceau is fielded back inside the 5-yard line. And it'll be a handoff on the kick return as Bainey takes it to the outside. He's to the 16-yard line, and the Golden Bears will hem him in along the sidelines. Vikings went for a little trickeration there in the kick return. Colton Robinson grabbed it initially, and then he handed it off to the other deep back, Bowen Bainey. But Golden Bears, they kept the edge that time as the Vikings could not get around the corner. 14-0 Bishop Garrigan. Carson Kramer an interception, giving Bishop Garrigan their 13th turnover forced of the season, and the Golden Bears paid off with the Ethan Marceau 10-yard touchdown run. So 14-0 Golden Bears as the ball's on the right side hash. Tiedemann comes out in the shotgun this time. He will run to the right, has all kinds of blockers over there. He is hit, he is stood up, and he'll be stacked up after a gain that gets out past the 20-yard line to the 21. We'll call that about a 3 or 4 yard pickup, setting up 2nd down and 7 with 8.5 minutes left to go in the quarter. Well, again, if you're Bishop Garrigan, you will take that. You've got the first couple of touchdowns of the game on the board here, establish this 14-0 lead, and if the Vikings want to run between the tackles and try to grind out a long drive, you are more than ready to play that physical smash-mouth style of game against Northwood-Kensett. Bishop Garrigan's beaten the Vikings 3 or 4 times since these teams went down to the 8-player class. Northwood-Kensett winning 53-14 in 2021, but after that, it was 63-0 Garrigan in 2022, 59-23 in favor of the Bears in 2023, and then 74-6 last year for Bishop Garrigan. Here's the give of the middle to Robinson. Not a whole lot doing there. That'll go for a 1-yard gain as Robinson bottled up that time. Went for 1 yard there on the midline, and Bishop Garrigan sets up a 3rd down and medium situation for Northwood-Kensett. We'll call it 3rd and 6 from the 21-yard line. Robinson is very shifty if he gets into the open field, but between the tackles, Golden Bears are able to bottle him up. as Robinson just shy of 70 carries on the season, just shy of 600 yards on the ground as well. Tiedemann will run in with the play. Northwood-Kensett will have to get it out to the 27-yard line in order to pick up a first down. Rosenmeyer, Kramer, and Schwab will be the linemen for Bishop Garrigan. Have Tucky will line up as the deep back. Robinson is the fullback. Play action for Tiedemann. Here comes pressure. He has to unload quickly, and it's picked off. Tate Furch has it down the left sideline, out of a tackle to the 20-yard line, and knocked out of bounds right there by Carson Tufty. Second pick of the night for Bishop Garrigan, as Tiedemann saw the rush coming from his front side, unleashed down the field into one-on-one coverage, and Tate Furch in front of the intended receiver picked it off and went down the sideline. His 5th interception of the season. That is Tate Furch's 5th pick, and the Golden Bears are once again inside the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Cornwall, West Bend, and Humboldt. So second turnover of the night. It's been a 3-and-out and 2 interceptions so far for this Northwood-Kensett offense, still looking for that first down. 2 receivers to the right. Furch takes it on the quarterback run. Big crease right side. Furch to the middle. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. All the way to the house for a touchdown. Bishop Garrigan is now on top by a score of 20-0 with 6:57 on the clock. So Furch will run this one in, and the Golden Bears have taken advantage here of an early lead. It'll be Gage Meyer to kick the extra point. It'll be Caden Graves to snap the ball. Out to the left, and bringing in the swinging gate will be Bishop Garrigan. Graves with the snap. Snap is high, ball is down by Furch, and over and kick by Meyer, and it is up, and it is good. So another powerful run by Bishop Garrigan's offense, and the Golden Bears are on top 21-0 as we break for a quick timeout. Back after this on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
Ethan Marceau to kick things away for Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears on top, 21-0 right now, as Marceau kicked a touchback his last time around. Back deep retrieve is Bainey and Robinson for Northwood-Kensett. As Marceau approaches the football, he'll line drive it down the field, and that one will sail back into the end zone for a touchback from that big right leg of Ethan Marceau, who celebrates by shooting an imaginary arrow after that one. It was good to talk with Ethan Marceau earlier this week. We had him on KLGA Hometown Radio with our Student Athlete of the Week Spotlight and talked about the special teams for Marceau, taking over as a kicker on the kickoffs after a couple of weeks to start off the regular season. Dealt with some hamstring issues early on, but now that right leg looking strong. Tiedemann will be out underneath center. Tiedemann will take it through the middle, following his center, and he's able to wedge his way forward just shy of the 20-yard line out to the 19. That'll go as a 4-yard pickup. Just a quarterback sneak right for the middle. Garrigan getting ready for that pitch to the outside, and Tiedemann saw a little crease there, so he'll go to the sideline here and get the play from his head coach. But Tiedemann's been good on the ground this season for the Vikings. 13 scores, just under 6.5 yards per carry for the Northwood-Kensett senior. And he'll try to keep the Vikings ahead of the chains here. With 6:28 and ticking in quarter number 1. Golden Bears on top, 21-0 to start things off. Robinson lined up on the left side. Tufty behind the quarterback as Robinson goes in motion. Tiedemann back to throw, will swing it out to the flat, and it's a bit out in front of his intended target, Robinson. Robinson did have a little bit of room there to catch and run to try to pick up the first down, but Tiedemann led him just a little bit too far, and it'll be 3rd and medium here for the Vikings. The score 21-0 right now, 3rd down and 6 for Northwood-Kensett, trying to find that first down of the ball game. And get a little momentum here. You're thinking if you're the Vikings, you want to hang on to the ball, kill the clock here, and keep the ball away from Bishop Garrigan, but now down 21-0. That's no longer the case here as you're looking for some scores. It'll be Rosenmeyer, Kramer, and Schwab to set up here as the 3 defensive linemen for Bishop Garrigan. This Golden Bear defense that's recorded 14 sacks so far this season. Underneath center, Tiedemann takes the snap. He reads, and the play is blown up in the backfield by Ethan Marceau. He got right in there and knocked down the fullback Brady Tufty for a 2-yard loss, and the Golden Bears will force a 3-and-out. Excellent play by Ethan Marceau. That's another thing we talked about as well. He mentioned during that interview that the defensive line is playing so well right now for Garrigan. They're eating up all his tackles, but he's more than happy to see that happen and then when he has a chance to get his nose in there and lay the wood, he is happy to do that as well. It'll be a punt for Bainey. Bainey into the football as McGregor almost got there again. Kick is to the left side hash as Joyce will dive on top of it at the 34-yard line for Bishop Garrigan as they'll start their drive just shy of midfield and bring the offense back out. So far, it's been 4 offensive plays, 3 touchdowns for the Golden Bears, who lead it right now 21-0. Tate Furch on that last touchdown. That was his 26th career rushing score. As we hit the 5:40 mark here in quarter number 1. Michael Joyce will head out to the wide side of the field as Tate Furch starts out in the shotgun. Even Marceau on his right side. The snap is good by Graves. It's a read. The give will go to Marceau. Marceau for the middle. Lowers the shoulder. Runs over man, and there goes Marceau. He's the 25. He's the 20. And a great ankle tackle will stop him from reaching the end zone. The play was chased down for Northwood-Kensett by Alec Dukeman, but Marceau ran over a defender and took it into the red zone as Bishop Garrigan will hurry up here to the line of scrimmage. Another punishing run by Ethan Marceau, and that zone read for Bishop Garrigan, an excellent offensive weapon. Joyce just off the line to the right. Furch in the shotgun again. He's back to throw. He lobs it out to the right side to Joyce, trying to make a man miss, and Joyce knocked down along the sideline. Good tackle down by the ankles by Hazen Jacobson for Northwood-Kensett, and the Golden Bears will gain some modest yardage on that pitch to the outside by Furch. 2nd down and 7. Golden Bears can get a first down without getting a touchdown as the yardage to gain is to the 5-yard line. Once again inside the Red Power Red Zone here, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. Hayden Miller, the tight end on the right side of the line. Weston Rosenmeyer on the left side. Marceau, the lone setback, as he'll get the pitch running to the wide side of the field. He's looking for a block. He cuts it inside. He drives his way forward. He's inside the 5-yard line. Tiedemann making the stop for Northwood-Kensett, but Marceau with enough to move the chains and set Bishop Garrigan up with a 1st and goal. We've seen some great physical running so far by Ethan Marceau, keeping those legs fresh. A lot of times you can limit the amount of carries and beating a back has to take with the way Bishop Garrigan's been able to put on the points and put on the blowouts so far this season. As they're looking at Marceau fresh here at the end. Hand off goes to McGregor. McGregor trying to drive his way to the end zone. Bounces off a tackle and he'll score. Carter McGregor will take it in for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. And the Golden Bears will be on top 27-0 here in quarter number 1 at the 4:29 mark. So Marceau got a couple of big runs on that drive, but the current fullback, Carter McGregor, will pay off that drive. And now Tate Furch is in the gun here. Has the swinging gain out to the left side. We'll see what the Golden Bears have drawn up here. Gage Meyer is over to the right, and now Meyer will come in to kick. So they were seeing how the Vikings lined up there, thinking maybe at some point you direct snap it to Furch, but they had Meyer over there on the right side to bring him back in as the kicker. Snap is good. Furch puts the ball down. Meyer into it. It's a wobbling kick, and that one is going to sneak for the uprights, and good. So the knuckleball kick by Gage Meyer makes it 28-0 Bishop Garrigan, as we'll break for a quick timeout here on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
It'll be another kickoff for Bishop Garrigan, as this time they will call upon Gage Meyer to boot the ball away. Lined up right now at the 30-yard line as he'll kick left to right on the radio dial. Tufty will come up a couple of steps, as will Robinson to the 10-yard line for Northwood-Kensett as they await the Meyer kickoff. Meyer's going to squib this one down the middle of the field that is touched by one of the upbacks, and it is covered up by Henry Hansen for Northwood-Kensett. He will stop that ball from rolling all the way back, and the Vikings will start just past the 20-yard line out to the 21. So far, 4 drives, 4 touchdowns for the Golden Bears. Vikings trying to get some movement here on offense, as they had that 4-yard gain on their first carry of the last drive, but ultimately could not get forward for a first down. So Tiedemann will come out in the I formation. 2 tight ends, 2 backs for Northwood-Kensett. And he will give through the middle. It's the fullback Robinson trying to find a crease along the left side, but not a lot doing there as the Golden Bears gum things up inside and hold Robinson to a 1-yard carry on the first down pickup. Well, it's been turnovers so far. It's been an aggressive defensive line for Bishop Garrigan. pushing the Vikings back here, not giving them much time in the backfield to have long developing plays here tonight. As Tiedemann runs into the play. 4:01 remaining here in quarter number 1 of the Golden Bears on top, 28-zip. Golden Bears will go with 4 defensive linemen here. You've got Rosenmeyer, McGregor, Kramer, and Schwab out there for Bishop Garrigan. The Vikings will have Tiedemann this time in the shotgun. Bainey and Robinson, a Tufty and Robinson that is over to the left, is back to throw. Tiedemann trying to escape pressure, throws it down the middle, and he has Bainey for the completion. Bainey to the 30-yard line, and he is right by the sticks. They will give him the first down out to the 32-yard line on the first completion to Bowen Bainey of the night, his 8th catch of the season. And the Vikings will get their first down of the evening. Good job by Tiedemann there. Rolling off to his left side that time. The weak side had the rush in his face again, but that time was able to find his 6'3" tight end. Always a big target out there to find number 5 for the Vikings. Vikings will break the huddles. The ball's on the left hash. At the 33-yard line right now for Northwood-Kensett, as Robinson's lined up over to the right. Robinson motions around the backfield. He'll take the pitch near side. He bobbles the pitch a little bit. That was a deep pitch, and he's hit along the sidelines and knocked out of bounds. A couple of Golden Bears rallying to the football with Michael Joyce and Carter McGregor. That time, that's one where the quarterback's got to put the pitch in a little bit better of a spot. He led Robinson to the very deep depths of the backfield that time, and pitch was a little behind him, didn't let him get going forward down the field. And the Golden Bear defense, they are quick, they flow to the football, and they maintain the edge. As Robinson had nowhere to go with that one. He will lose about 3 yards on the play, back to the 31-yard line. We'll call it 2 yards, 2nd and 12. This time Robinson will line up on the left side. Tufty behind his quarterback, Tiedemann. Robinson motions behind the play. Tiedemann will give it to his fullback, Tufty, trying to work his way for the middle, and he's wrapped up by Kramer. Kramer drops him for a 1-yard loss, getting off his block quickly and taking the running back down in the backfield to set up another 3rd down and long. Kramer will run out. Besh will run in for the Golden Bears. And Clems will come in here for McGregor with a passing situation potentially coming up here for the Vikings. They'll have to get it past midfield to the Bishop Garrigan 37-yard line in order to pick up the first down as they face a 3rd and 13. Vikings will break the huddle. The ball lined up on the left hash. Tiedemann underneath center. Robinson over to the left. Robinson goes behind the play. He'll take the handoff in the backfield. He's hit by Besh, and he's knocked down. The Golden Bears get home to the backfield again as Besh moves him backwards for a 1-yard loss. And the Garrigan defensive line doing an excellent job on that drive, keeping an eye on all the backfield activity for Northwood-Kensett. Vikings now with a 4th down and 13, balls at the 30-yard line. And they'll bring in the punting unit as Michael Joyce goes back to receive for the Golden Bears. Bainey has been busy so far tonight on the punts. You've got to watch out for McGregor lining up over the long snapper Tiedemann. In between the snapper and the left guard as snaps a little high to Bainey. Bainey will get the ball away as it will flutter to the far side of the field, and that one will go out of bounds. Bishop Garrigan will have great field position once again, likely past midfield here as Bainey shanks that one off to the side. Bishop Garrigan's field position will be the 35-yard line to start things off. So we'll see how the offense can do again here. They've been starting on the plus side of the field quite a bit so far tonight. We have 2 turnovers forced from Northwood-Kensett, and then that punt off to the side. As Tate Furch, Bishop Garrigan's quarterback, he's thrown 1 touchdown tonight. He's rushed for 1 as well. Ethan Marceau and Carter McGregor both scoring on the ground in this 28-0 score. Golden Bears will send 2 receivers out to the left as Clems is wide left, Joyce is slot left. Furch is in the shotgun with his stout running back, Ethan Marceau, on his right hip. Snap is good to Furch. He'll swing it out to Joyce quickly on the left side. Joyce cuts back towards the middle of the field. Now he bounces to the outside 30, down the sideline 25, shifting his way to the 20. He's to the 10, and he's all the way. Joyce then on for a touchdown, breaking tacklers and leaving them in the dust as Bishop Garrigan gets that quick hitter out to Joyce and lets him do the rest. That'll make it 34-0. Incredible running that time by Joyce. Broke 3 or 4 tackles along the way. Never stepped out of bounds, and he'll take it in for a 35-yard score to make it 34-0. Once again, it'll be Meyer lined up to the right this time with Furch standing behind the long snapper, Caden Graves. They brought in Meyer to kick the PAT last time, and they will do the same again here with a different look from this swinging gate formation. That is Michael Joyce's 5th touchdown catch of the season, 11th of the career. You can see why they want him on punt returns and in the open field. Snap is good to Furch. Meyer into the ball, and it got blocked. They got their hand up and blocked the kick, as score will stay 34-0. We'll take another timeout and back to Northwood-Kensett High School after this. 1:33 left in the first on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
We've got more sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
Camco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Gage Meyer will kick it off for Bishop Garrigan as the Golden Bears on top 34-0. They'll send that bouncing ball down the middle of the field, picked up by Robinson at the 20, returns to the left hash to the 25. He plunges his way forward out to the 27-yard line, where he's swallowed up by Lucas Bohanek on the kickoff coverage for Bishop Garrigan. Or check that, Leo Snyder, beg your pardon, on the kickoff coverage. So Northwood-Kensett with solid starting field position at their own 27-yard line. In the dying moments here of the first, with 1:28 remaining. This Viking offensive line is going to try to open up some running lanes here for the offense, but has not been easy tonight so far against this Garrigan defensive line. With a four-man front right now, McGregor, Besch, Kramer, and Schwab. And actually, they'll bring in a fifth here if Rosenmeyer coming out as well for the Golden Bears. Power I formation for Northwood-Kensett of Tiedemann underneath center. Tiedemann with the midline read. They'll give it up the middle to the fullback, but not a lot doing as that run went behind the right guard in the center, but Brady Tufte didn't have a whole lot of room to work there. He'll pick up a couple of yards and set up second down and 8. Tufte's usually the guy doing that dirty work up the middle for Northwood-Kensett. He's been their dive back a lot on that veer, and he averages about 4 yards per carry. A lot of his running in between the guards. Colton Robinson, number 23 for them. He's usually the pitch back, taking the plays that go to the outside and trying to get out in space. But Tufte does a lot of that between the tackles running that the Vikings try to get going. Last week, this Northwood-Kensett team went for 496 yards on the ground, with 234 from Colton Robinson on just 10 carries. Tiedemann had 183. Tiedemann will give. It's a run towards the left side this time. Robinson trying to push his way forward, and he is pushed back by Ethan Marceau. A pack of Golden Bear jerseys getting there quickly. Kramer had him down low. Marceau got him up high. Positive yardage. It'll set up a 3rd down and 5 as the Vikings pass the 30-yard line out to the 31. And McGregor will sub in for Schwab here on this 3rd down and 5. So far, it's been 10 straight quarters, and we're going on 11 here, with Bishop Garrigan not allowing the opposing offense to score a touchdown. Last offensive touchdown allowed for Bishop Garrigan was the second quarter of the game against St. Edmund. They shut out Turkey Valley the following week, and then last week, North Union's only scores a special teams touchdown as they will let it go to the end of the first. So quarter number 1 comes to an end. Bishop Garrigan on top, 34-0 as we move to the second on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Weichert Realty, the 515 agency. A fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Teams flip sides of the field when we get the second quarter underway. Northwood-Kensett facing a 3rd down and 6 yards to go situation for their own 32-yard line. As they come out in the I formation once again, the fullback is Tufte of Robinson, the tailback. 2 tight ends for the Vikings. Snap to Tiedemann. Tiedemann with the play action. Rolls to the right side, has Besch pursuing, throws down the field, and that ball is incomplete. His intended receiver was Colton Robinson, and he got clotheslined that time by Weston Rosenmeyer, who stuck the left arm up, and Robinson goes into it as that ball falls onto the grass. So incomplete pass, and the Vikings, who had just one first down in the first quarter, will have to decide what to do here. 4th and 6. It appears they will go for it in this situation as Tiedemann comes back out onto the field. Bainey, their tight end, is also the punter, but this appears to be the Vikings going for it here on 4th and 6. They'll have to get it out to the 38-yard line as Bainey is split out to the right side. Tiedemann underneath center, has Tufty behind him. Robinson lined up to the left. Robinson motions. They'll fake to Tufty. Here comes the pressure from Besh. He looks to the flat, and the ball is incomplete as he dirts it in the direction of Robinson, but that play was not going to go anywhere, even if that ball gets to the receiver, as Weston Rosenmeyer got over there quickly to get to that motioning running back, and the Vikings will turn it over on downs as Bishop Garrigan starts on the plus side of the field once again. So Golden Bears are going to go big here on offense. We see Kramer being left in the game right now for Bishop Garrigan, as Tate Furch comes out to lead out the offense. So some extra beef. You've got Rosenmeyer, the tight end, over there. Kramer is lining up as well. Technically an eligible receiver lined up just off the left guard as Furch is in the shotgun. Furch reads, gives to Marceau. Marceau following Rosenmeyer. He's around the edge. There goes even Marceau, sprinting down the sideline. Marceau for another house call. Tremendous blocking out on the edge by Bishop Garrigan, and even Marceau houses it on the Golden Bears' first play from scrimmage of that drive. That'll make the score for Bishop Garrigan 40-0. That is Marceau's second rushing score of the night. Boy, Rosenmeyer that time ran out in front of Marceau, and he almost could have scored that himself as he was looking for a guy to block out there. But again, you've got the right side of the offensive line, keeping things contained for the Northwood-Kensett defense. Marceau getting a full head of downhill steam, and that's a defensive back's worst nightmare as Meyer looked to tack on the PAT. Meyer kicking towards the left. Vikings almost got in there to block that one as the kick is up, and it is through the uprights. So 41-0 Bishop Garrigan. Marceau has added rushing touchdowns number 15 and 16 of the season here tonight, as the Golden Bears have opened up this lead and gotten a running clock here in the second quarter. Right now, 11:41 on the clock. While they get us ready for the kickoff here, we'll give a quick thank you to our video streaming sponsors. As always, presenting our YouTube stream here throughout the fall season. Those include Kemna Auto Center, Algona Municipal Utilities, PMC Advantage Insurance Services, Algona Frame and Auto Body, Iowa State Bank, and Electronic Specialties, all presenting our video stream. Greg Penning & Company is your scoreboard sponsor. Here's Garrigan on top by his count of 41-0. Well, it was great talking with John Kesselring this week, who calls Bishop Garrigan's plays. He was mentioning how, this Golden Bear team, you don't have to feed just one guy. In fact, it's better if you don't just feed one guy. You spread the wealth around. Several good receivers getting in on the action. You've got a lot of guys who can carry the ball. And, of course, Tate Furch can do both. He can run it. He can pass. So all kinds of talent in those skill positions. And like he said, it would be to Bishop Garrigan's advantage to share the ball and get all their good athletes involved in the game. As Meyer kicks away. Down the middle of the field as it's squibbed, bobbled by Robinson at the 20. Robinson tiptoeing to the near side, bounces outside of the numbers, past the 25, just shy of the 30-yard line as he's knocked down on the play by Carter Sink, and Carter McGregor getting down the field. Boy, Carter Sink, we've been calling his name frequently on special teams throughout the season. He has been one of those household names you just hear on the kickoff time after time. We talked about guys like Isaac Galang last year, Fad Kolash, Nick Toole, some of the special teams aces Garrigan had, and Sink has filled in that role this season. Ball again on the right side for the Vikings. I formation. Tiedemann reads. He'll keep it. He'll pitch to the outside to Robinson. Robinson across the 30. He gets popped by Ethan Marceau and taken into the sideline after taking some punishment. Besh over there as well to help finish off the tackles. That'll go for a 3-yard gain. So there's a couple options on that play. You read to the fullback, and it's really a lot on the quarterback's plate there. You can either give off to the fullback Tufty. When he didn't see anything up the middle, he went to the outside there, had Robinson as an option to pitch the ball, or Tiedemann could have kept it himself. That time got the ball to Robinson for a 3-yard gain. But you can run that out of that I formation. You can do it with Robinson lined up over to the left and Tufty behind the quarterback. But it's a lot on the quarterback's plate here for Tiedemann as he'll get the snap from center Carson Tufty. I formation again for the Vikings. Back to throw. Tiedemann, he hesitates, he lobs it down the field, Cleanse in front of it, and it's knocked away. Bowen Bainey playing defensive back to help prevent that interception, as that was a ball that wobbled up there in the air. It almost wobbled a little bit too long as Cleanse sat back there like he was waiting for a punt, and Bainey had time to get in there and break up the pass as it's 3rd down and about 6 to go. But we've seen that a little bit so far tonight. Tiedemann does a little double pump. He'll hit his back foot, and there's a little bit of an extra hitch when he gets ready to throw the football. Like I said, the Vikings, they don't really want to throw it a whole lot here tonight, but they're getting in situations where they have to do it as they'll take a timeout right now. So the Vikings will expend their first timeout of the half. We'll take a quick timeout as well and come back after these messages on KLGZ.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs, building wealth beyond taxes.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona. Call 515-320-2491.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Coming out of the Northwood-Kensett timeout, Bishop Garrigan on top 41-0 as the Vikings face a third down at about 7 yards to go. They'll have to get it out to the 39-yard line in order to pick up first down yardage. Bishop Garrigan getting all kinds of defensive linemen in the action here tonight. If you play defensive line, your name is getting called for Bishop Garrigan. Besh and Kramer manning the middle of that line as Tiedemann is in the gun right now. Has his two backs over to the right side. Tiedemann looking for blockers. He'll throw. He has the completion out to the right side. Check that was Robinson throwing the ball to Tiedemann. Tiedemann was the eligible receiver that time as it was Robinson throwing the ball. And he picked up positive yardage, but it'll be fourth down and about 4 yards to go here for Northwood-Kensett. So not a bad pass play there. It was on the mark. And the Vikings will set up a fourth down and manageable here, about 4 yards to go. Tiedemann will break the huddle. About 5 yards back from his center as he has Tufty on his right hip. He's back to throw as McGregor coming. Throws out to Tufty. Tufty spins across the 40-yard line and he has the first down. Wrestled by Ethan Marceau along the along the Northwood-Kensett sideline, that is. They'll spot him at the 38, and that's enough to gain first down yardage. They faked to Tufty in the backfield. He was able to leak out there and get to that sideline and catch an accurate pass by Tiedemann, who once again had Carter McGregor coming right after him from that front side to apply the pressure. So the Vikings have crossed midfield for the first time tonight, moving into Bishop Garrigan territory for first down and 10. Ball will be on the right hash as Tiedemann's underneath center. Robinson lined up over to the left. He'll motion it behind the back. Tiedemann's back to throw. Fires down the middle. He has Tufty down the seam, and he makes the grab. He spins his way inside the 25-yard line, down to the 20, and the Vikings move the ball back-to-back first downs. That time a beautiful throw by Tiedemann. Hit that back foot, ripped it down the seam to his tight end, Bowen Bainey. Got to keep Bainey and Tufty straight. Those names, they're close enough. I trip over those two there, but Bainey has a second catch of the night. And the Vikings are inside the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. Bainey's made a few big plays this year for Northwood-Kensett. Not a lot of catches, but he is averaging 24 yards per catch when he does grab them. Tiedemann wearing the brace on his front leg. He's back to throw, fires towards the left side, and he sailed it over his tight end. Michael Joyce is closing in fast, but that pass a little bit behind the head of Bowen Bainey as it is incomplete, setting up second down and 10. That time Tiedemann had a little more time to throw than he thought, and that's where the Bishop Garrigan defensive line really extracts a tough mental toll on opposing quarterbacks. You're used to getting hit. You're used to seeing very quick pressure from Bishop Garrigan, so even when it doesn't come, you're anticipating the pressure and really rushing to get that ball out, as Tiedemann did right there. Most promising drive so far for Northwood-Kensett. Second down and 10 as Tiedemann takes the shotgun snap. He's back to throw, has 3 men in the pattern, fires towards the right side, and a dive along the sidelines, and an interception for Bishop Garrigan. It was Weston Rosenmeyer grabbing it at the 12-yard line, and he stayed in bounds. Third pick of the night for the Bishop Garrigan defense, and the drive will stall out inside the red zone for Northwood-Kensett. Weston Rosenmeyer getting the pick. Second time tonight we've seen someone who usually plays defensive line for Garrigan getting an interception, as Kramer had one earlier off that tipped ball. And now Rosenmeyer grabs his first pick of the season. With the 3 forced turnovers tonight, Bishop Garrigan has taken the football away 15 times so far this season from their opponents. So we'll see if the offense can stretch out a long drive here as they'll start back at their own 12-yard line. Dalton Clens to the wide side of the field to the right. In the backfield, it is C.J. McGregor taking the handoff. McGregor weaves his way through the middle of the defense as he crosses the 15 and gets out to about the 17-yard line. Gets a median pickup on first down and sets up second down and 4. McGregor, that shifty running back for Bishop Garrigan, averaging nearly 6 yards per carry on the season, has converted on 2-point tries 12 times so far this year after getting one earlier tonight. And the Golden Bears have the ball right now, 6:07 and ticking left in the first half, leading 41-zip. So Bishop Garrigan takes their time getting out of the huddles. Will send Joyce over to the left. Ball's in the center of the field right now. 2 tight ends and 1 running back as Furch is in the shotgun. Joyce will motion. Furch fakes the Joyce. He's back to throw. He flips it back to the near side to Rosenmeyer, and he has all kinds of space. Schwab with a great block leading the way. Rosenmeyer to the 30. He's to the 35. He drives his way to the 40-yard line of some tough running and taken into the sideline by Robinson for Northwood-Kensett. Bishop Garrigan got everyone thinking the play was going to the right, with Michael Joyce motioning in that direction. Of course, Joyce had the touchdown earlier tonight, so all eyes followed number 9. Then they flipped it back over to the left with Rosenmeyer wide open, and the only man in front of him for a while was his left guard, Carter Schwab, leading the way for the blocking. Golden Bears are at midfield now, as we're down to 5:15 remaining in the first half. Furch with the extended handoff to McGregor. McGregor, great block by Marceau. Here goes McGregor, sprinting down the sideline, but a flag comes in. He is into the end zone for a 40-yard touchdown for now, but there was a flag from the near side official, and there is holding on Bishop Garrigan. Even Marceau had a great block along the right side, but it is coming back here with a hold. I don't even necessarily think that hold is on Marceau. It may have been somewhere else along the line, but that'll wipe out a big 40-yard run by C.J. McGregor to the house. Golden Bears have seen the penalties tick up a little bit here in the past couple of weeks, as the flag right now is at the 31-yard line, so it's a 10 yards from the spot of the foul situation on the penalty. They'll get that on Carter Schwab with the hold. They've got the PA announcement from the officials here tonight, so we can hear the announcements on the penalty and who the guilty party was, so they'll get the senior Schwab on that. But because it occurred down the field, Bishop Garrigan will start at the same line of scrimmage as they did their last play, which will be at the 40-yard line. Well, you almost have to give McGregor another chance here, don't you? As McGregor's lined up in the backfield, they'll go with Marceau lined up on the wing to the right side, just as they did on the last play, with Tate Furch underneath center. Here's the handoff to McGregor, this time picking his way for the middle, and he is stonewalled. McGregor runs into a brick wall that time as he is blown up at the line of scrimmage. Didn't gain any yardage on that play. Tiedemann was able to put a helmet into the belly of McGregor. Also helped out on the tackle by Brady Christensen, their 225-pound nose tackle, holding his ground in the middle against the Bishop Garrigan offensive line. So 4:25 on the clock, second down and 10 for Bishop Garrigan. McGregor will continue as the primary running back on this drive. This time he'll have his brother Carter McGregor as the fullback leading the way in front of him. It'll be a pitch to the near side. McGregor looking for a block from McGregor. McGregor blocks, McGregor runs, and C.J. McGregor's across the 30-yard line down to the 28. A solid pickup of 12 yards, and Bishop Garrigan will move the chains. It was brother following brother that time. You know, if Carter McGregor had missed that block, he would have heard about it at the dinner table tomorrow night, but he was able to lay the wood on the block, and McGregor, that being C.J., getting the first down for Bishop Garrigan. Both of McGregor's check out of the field right now, as Clens will be the receiver to the left. Lined up at the same depth as the quarterback. Furch is in the shotgun, and now he'll motion to the right. Clens will take it on the handoff around the right side. He's to the 25. He accelerates, and he's just shy of the 20-yard line as he runs into a bear hug by Alec Dukeman, the defensive end for Northwood-Kensett. Dukeman of 35.5 tackles coming into tonight. He'll stop Clens after a pickup of 6 yards, as Bishop Garrigan will be spotted on the right side hash at the 22. Clens will be over to the right side of the formation this time, as Furch is in the gun. Clens running again towards the left side. Furch reading, and Furch keeping up the middle. Furch across the 20, spins down to the 15-yard line, inside the 15 to the 13, as he is ridden forward by Dukeman. Plenty enough for the first down by Tate Furch, who's rushed for over 11 yards per carry so far in the season. Dalton Clens has to be gassed at this point, motioning from the opposite side of the field on each of the last 2 plays, on one of them taking the handoff. Bishop Garrigan inside the red power red zone right now, trying to punch in another touchdown before halftime. Rosenmeyer and Miller are the 2 tight ends. It's McGregor and McGregor in the backfield. C.J. McGregor takes the handoff. Big hole off the right side. McGregor bursts forward, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Big hole along the right side of that line. Nate Lear and Hayden Miller over there to open things up for Bishop Garrigan, and McGregor will run this one in for another Bishop Garrigan score. Golden Bears go up 47-0 here in the late moments of the second quarter with 2:34 remaining. So McGregor, after getting a touchdown called back due to a Bishop Garrigan hold earlier in this drive, He will eventually get a touchdown, his third rushing score of the season. And Gage Meyer will kick the extra point to try to make it 48-zip. Furch puts the snap down. McGregor make that Meyer into the football, and he will line that one through the uprights, and good. So Bishop Garrigan on top, 48-0, as we'll step aside for a 30-second timeout on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
We've got more sports club members.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
Lichter's Garage Door Service, a reputation you can trust.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Engineered Farm Drainage, specializing in drainage tile solutions. Visit them on Facebook or engineeredfarmdrainage.com.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Bishop Garrigan on top, 48-0 in the second quarter. As we have 2:34 remaining. Gage Meyer handling the kickoff duties right now, so he'll kick it right to left on the radio dial. The Vikings have moved Robinson up to the 16-yard line. The deepest man for Northwood-Kensett is Tufty as he's standing back at the 5. Myers into the football as he squibs it down the middle, takes a high hop over the head of Robinson, back to Tufty at the 10, returns near side to the 20, trying to get through a crease as he's to the 25-yard line, being spun down on the play by Carter Sink for Bishop Garrigan and Carter McGregor. Those two making a tackle on special teams, and the Vikings will have the ball here with a running clock, just under 2.5 minutes to go until halftime. Of course, coming up at halftime, we'll do our Murphy Realty and Management first half recap. We'll have you make the call, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities. And we'll check in on the score of the Algona football game as well, as at latest update, Brian Wilson had texted me, Sioux Center on top of Algona, 21-0, as the Bulldogs have struggled getting things going on offense tonight. Tiedemann is underneath center. He will read a little trouble there at the mesh point, as squeezing forward is Tufty, and he will be just past the line of scrimmage for a 1-yard gain. Looked like the alignment that time was just a bit off for Northwood-Kensett. Tufty almost running directly into his quarterback on that exchange. Was still able to get it cleanly and get forward for a yard. As there's 1:37 left in the first half. Vikings not in a whole lot of rush here, as they'll likely bleed things out here against Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears do get the football to start the second half. On top right now, 48-0, as Tiedemann will jog on the play. You can see some long, weary faces on the Viking side already. They've taken a punishing here from the Garrigan defensive line. As Tiedemann will be in the shotgun right now. Robinson and Tufty are over to his right. Tiedemann's back to throw. Here comes the rush. He fires down the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. That ball was sailed over the head of the intended receiver, the 6'3" Bowen Bainey, about 5 yards down the field. And Tate Furch, the Bishop Garrigan defensive back, the closest man in the area, as it's third down and at 9 for Northwood-Kensett. Running under 54 seconds here for the running clock, and Bishop Garrigan up by 35+. Third down to 9 for Northwood-Kensett. Needing to run another play before halftime. Tiedemann this time underneath center. As Robinson's over to the right side of the formation this time. They will give it to Robinson, trying to take it around the left end, and a great jersey tackle that time by Carter McGregor. Holding on for dear life to that jersey and avoiding the horse collar, as he will lasso him down after maybe a 1-yard pickup. Robinson has not had a whole lot of room to get around the edge here tonight. Third down and 9 as there's 15 seconds left of the first half. Northwood-Kensett does not have to snap the ball if they don't want to, and it does not appear they want to. So Vikings are going to take it into halftime, and Bishop Garrigan will take that. Golden Bears currently leading 48-0, as we'll head to our halftime coverage right here on Home Country Radio KLGZ 98.5 FM and AM 1600.
That's it for the first half of play. Now get set for the Edward Jones Halftime Show featuring Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call. And the Murphy Realty and Management first half recap. Your Edward Jones representatives are Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Member SIPC.
Safe and affordable housing. Those are words we like to hear. And Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides just that. With properties in Algona and several surrounding counties, Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides safe and affordable apartments at a time when everyone could really use it. They pride themselves as a local entity that aims to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Give them a call at 515-295-2927 or stop in their office located at 208 East State Street in Algona. This institution is an equal housing opportunity provider.
Back here in halftime from Northwood-Kensett High School as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears well on their way to a 7-0 record with a 48-0 lead over the Northwood-Kensett Vikings, live here on KLGZ Home Country Radio. Our halftime report is brought to you by Edward Jones and your local Algona representatives Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. This segment is our Murphy Realty Management first half recap. Murphy Realty Management presenting this one here as we've got some scoring plays to recap for Bishop Garrigan. Well, the game started off with Bishop Garrigan on defense. They would force a Viking 3-and-out on the first drive, and when Bishop Garrigan got the ball back, it was a quick strike. Once again, Tate Furch with a deep shot to his tight end, Weston Rosenmeyer, as that gave Bishop Garrigan the early 6-0 lead. The Golden Bears would add on after that. On the second drive of the game for Northwood-Kensett, it was Carson Kramer intercepting a tipped pass and setting Bishop Garrigan up at the 10-yard line. On the very next play, Ethan Marceau paid it off of that 10-yard rushing touchdown, and the Golden Bears went up 14-0. There's still more scoring to come in the first quarter. Another interception by Bishop Garrigan would set up a Tate Furch rushing touchdown, his first score on the ground of the night. That was Bishop Garrigan's third score in the first quarter. On the ensuing Bishop Garrigan drive, they would get Carter McGregor, their fullback, in on the action as two big runs by Ethan Marceau eventually set up a short touchdown plunge by McGregor, making the score in favor of Bishop Garrigan at 28-0. The final score of the quarter was Tate Furch finding his wide receiver Michael Joyce. It'll go as a touchdown pass, but it's one of those long handoffs. That swing pass out to Joyce made about 3 or 4 men miss on that run down the sidelines, and Joyce would take it in for that touchdown, giving Bishop Garrigan a 34-0 lead at the end of one. Then in the second quarter, it would be 2 more scores for Bishop Garrigan. Ethan Marceau got downhill for a big 20-plus yard touchdown run. And then it would be C.J. McGregor, the final rushing score of the first half for Bishop Garrigan, getting us to this 48-0 advantage that the Golden Bears currently enjoy over the Northwood-Kensett Vikings. It's been tough sledding offensively so far for Northwood-Kensett, as they only picked up 3 first downs in the first half. 2 of them came on a single drive, but when Northwood-Kensett got the ball down to the 20-yard line of Bishop Garrigan, the deepest they went into Golden Bear territory of the night. Shortly thereafter, an interception would follow as Weston Rosenmeyer had one of the 3 Golden Bear picks in that first half. So Vikings got in Bishop Garrigan territory once, but one of their 3 turnovers in the first half would ultimately end that drive and give Bishop Garrigan the football back. That final Golden Bear drive that ultimately ended in the C.J. McGregor rushing touchdown. But a lot of credit once again goes to the Garrigan defensive line. We knew it would play a big role tonight. Substantial size advantage up front for Bishop Garrigan, and the Vikings running these long developing triple option type plays. So you know the Golden Bear defensive line was going to have a chance to make a big impact here tonight, and they have done just that. You're talking about discipline defensively, not letting up any explosive plays, because as we heard in the pregame show, a lot of what the Vikings want to do, they want to catch you in bad spots, catch someone missing an assignment, and then they'll hit you for a big play on that option. But so far the Golden Bears, they've read their keys, they've done their jobs, all the things coaches like to tell you before the game, and they have held Northwood-Kensett to a pedestrian offense here in the first half of just 3 first downs. So Golden Bears in that top-ranked defense, one of the best defenses in the state. They've done their job so far today, and the offense, they've paid off their drives when they've had the football, as the score right now is 48-0 at the half. That's our Murphy Realty Management first half recap. When we come back, we'll check in with Algona Municipal Utilities, get the You Make the Call segment. It's next here on KLGZ.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time for You Make the Call as we test your knowledge of the rules. You Make the Call is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit. Our referee this evening is Tom Claude.
In overtime, A15 throws a pass intended for A89. The pass is intercepted by B22, who returns the interception 95 yards for an apparent touchdown. Has Team B won the game as a result of this pick six in overtime? You make the call.
Make the call with AMU Telephone Service. AMU local and long-distance telephone provides the call clarity and reliability you expect at an affordable price. Enhance your AMU telephone service with calling features like caller ID and voicemail. When you switch to AMU telephone, you can keep your 295 phone number and you get friendly local customer service. Make the call to AMU to install AMU telephone. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit.
Under the high school overtime rules, if the defensive team gains possession, the ball becomes dead immediately and the offensive team's series of downs is ended. Team B will have first and goal at the 10-yard line for their possession of the overtime period.
And this has been You Make the Call, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
Back here on your Edward Jones Halftime Show on Home Country Radio KLGZ, as our halftime show being brought to you by your Edward Jones representatives in Algona, Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. You just heard from Algona Municipal Utilities right there if you make the call. Before we continue on with this halftime, did want to give one quick update. We've been getting scoring updates on the Algona versus Sioux Center game tonight, going on KLGA 92.7 with Brian Wilson and Todd Van Otterloo on the call. 21-0 right now as Algona continues to trail in that ball game. Bulldogs have been hurt by 3 turnovers so far, and Sioux Center potentially driving down for another score. So Bulldogs will try to turn that one around, but that's the update that we have from across town right now in that one. Meanwhile, here at Northwood-Kensett High School, Bishop Garrigan's on top of the host Vikings, 48-0 as we approach the third quarter. Right now, if you're watching on the video stream, we're going to break here for a few minutes. If you're listening on the radio, we'll get a weather forecast in, a Radio Iowa evening sports update. So we'll do that on the radio if you're listening in. And again, if you're watching here in the video stream, we'll be back here in a few minutes once we get ready to go with the second half. This is your Edward Jones Halftime Report on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eischen Sales. They stock and service still products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eischen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Grassmasters, we believe the secret to a successful season is hard work and dedication, the same qualities that make up a winning team. Preparation, perseverance, and teamwork have enabled us to rise above the competition and bring you a championship team. So as this year kicks off, we at Grassmasters would like to wish all of the local athletes the very best and a successful season on and off the field. Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Time to get the second half underway from Northwood-Kensett High School. The Vikings will kick right to left on the radio dial with Bainey teeing things up at the 30-yard line. He'll kick it away down the field. Back is Michael Joyce fielding it at the 2-yard line. Returns up the left hash to the 10, 15-20. Joyce 25-30. Joyce 35-40. It's a foot race. He's got one man to beat. 20, 15-10. Back to the middle goes Joyce, and he's gone. Michael Joyce takes the second half opening kickoff back all the way for a score. 68 yards. Actually, 78 yards, beg your pardon. Don't want to short Michael Joyce on that. His second kickoff return touchdown of the season. Did that against St. Edmund earlier as well. That time just took it right up that left hash. Saw the seam that he wanted to take, and it was really a foot race. Didn't have to break any tackles or make anyone miss. That was just a matter of good blocking by Bishop Garrigan, an open lane for Joyce to run through, and his incendiary speed taking over after that. 54-0 your score right now as Gage Meyer continues what's been an extremely busy night up to this point. They're trying to get the football spotted here as it rolls away. But Meyer will be the kicker. Caden Graves the snapper, and Tate Furch the holder. Golden Bears with their first special teams touchdown of the night. They picked off 3 passes in the first half. They scored on the ground and through the air, and now at a special team score as the PAT by Meyer is up, and that one is through the uprights. Good. 78-yard kickoff returned by Joyce, and the score 55-0 in favor of Bishop Garrigan. Well, it's great to have a guy like Joyce back there who's a threat to break it for a touchdown at any point, and that's going to be key for Bishop Garrigan all throughout the postseason going forward. Not just because of the chance that Joyce will give you a great kickoff return to either score or give you great field position, but because opposing kickoff teams will have to adjust. Opposing coaches may just kick it short against Bishop Garrigan, try to kick directionally towards the sideline to keep it away from Joyce. They'll have to adjust their plans on special teams with the way that Joyce is efficiently converting these kickoff returns into touchdowns. So I foresee a lot of good starting field position going forward for Bishop Garrigan. Gage Meyer will kick away from the 30-yard line. Marceau handled the first few kickoffs tonight, but it's been Gage Meyer squibbing it after that, as the Vikings will have their first offensive possession of the second half. Remember, it is a running clock here in half number 2 as we're at the 11:47 mark. That kick return by Joyce taking a grand total of 13 seconds. It's a squibber towards the near side, fielded by Robinson at the 20. Takes it outside the numbers to the 25-30. Robinson into the sideline, just shy of the 35-yard line as the players scrap over there. Robinson run into the boundary on the play by Bahonic for Bishop Garrigan, the Golden Bears special team senior. So here comes the Vikings offense. Not a lot doing in half number 1 for Northwood-Kensett against this Garrigan defense, which, again, is not allowed an opposing offensive touchdown since the game against St. Edmund in the second quarter. It's now 12 straight quarters of no opposing offensive touchdowns for this Garrigan defense. Kramer, McGregor, Schwab, and Rosenmeyer will be the defensive linemen for Bishop Garrigan. If Tiedemann underneath center for Northwood-Kensett. It'll be a Reed, the fullback. Tufty takes it, and he gets swallowed up along the line of scrimmage. Rosenmeyer gets in there for the stop for Bishop Garrigan as the entire defensive line condensed in on the fullback Tufty. They've been doing a lot of that Reed play to the fullback, that midline Reed, but not a whole lot doing so far for Northwood-Kensett, as the Golden Bear defense continues to hold strong against this option game of the Vikings. They'll give them a modest gain of about half a yard, setting up second down and 1. Quick scoring update, 21-0 at the half right now as Algona trails Sioux Center. Over in our other game on KLGA 92.7. It's been 4 turnovers so far by Algona in that game. Tiedemann reads, he keeps, he hesitates, he works for the middle, and he is hit hard by Marceau. Tiedemann positive yards out to the 38-yard line, but Schwab had him wrapped up down low around the waist, and Marceau finished off up high. It'll be 3rd down and about 7 yards to go for the Vikings. Well, of course, speaking of scores going on around the state, if you want to get all of them, you can tune in tonight on our sister station 92.7 KLGA. At 10 o'clock, we'll have the Iowa High School Scoreboard Show. And plenty of reason to tune in for that tonight. There are a couple of mammoth matchups in the A-player class today. Number 7 state-ranked GTRA taking on number 9 ranked Kingsley Pearson tonight. That is a matchup that could decide that district's title. GTRA undefeated right now, and Kingsley Pearson's only loss against Bishop Garrigan. Tiedemann on 3rd and 7. Straight drop back to throw. Guns it down the middle, and it is incomplete. Overshot his man Robinson, who is covered tightly by C.J. McGregor. And Northwood-Kensett will stall out here near midfield on this drive. But that's a big game tonight, and Kingsley Pearson, that's a game that Bishop Garrigan played to open the season. They defeated Kingsley Pearson 60-20, and you didn't know quite how good Kingsley Pearson was. They played 11-man the last 2 years. They moved down to 8-man. Just how good were they going to be? But that's a win that has aged extremely well for this Golden Bear team. Kingsley Pearson looking to make potentially a run at their district title if they can beat GTRA tonight. Titans having their normal good season. Off to an undefeated 6-0 start as Bainey fakes it. He takes it to the middle. 40, 35, 30. Here's the rush by Bainey to the 20. He's to the 15, and he's knocked down by Michael Joyce inside the 15-yard line. The punter took it up the middle, and Bainey tackled by the return man Michael Joyce before he could get to the end zone, but rips up a huge gain for the 1st down. Vikings go for it there on the fake punt, and they'll have the ball inside the Red Power red zone. Brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. The middle was wide open that time, well blocked by Northwood-Kensett, and the Viking drive will continue here. But anyways, GTRA versus Kingsley Pearson, a big game. In our district, West Bend Mallard hosting North Union tonight. That's a big game as well that will probably decide a 3rd playoff spot. Tiedemann throws, slings it out to the near side of the field to his tight end Ryerson, and he is planted by Ethan Marceau. A little bit slow to get up there as Bainey as he dove on top of the football. Ball came out late, but Ryerson was down after that catch. Picked up 1 on the play to set up 2nd down and 11 yards to go. We've seen a lot of big hitting by Marceau as per usual on both the offensive and defensive sides tonight. Bishop Garrigan's punishing linebacker and running back. Vikings have the ball on the left side hash. Ryerson, the tight end on the left. Bainey, the other tight end on the right, with Tiedemann underneath center. It'll be give it to the fullback, and that is blown up in the backfield by Carter McGregor. Again, trouble the mesh point for Northwood-Kensett, and Carter McGregor not only tackled the fullback Brady Tufty, he also brought down the quarterback Alex Tiedemann. Those two were right in the exact same spot, and McGregor had to try to get his arms around both of them and hold them up in the backfield long enough to get the rest of the defense in there as well. That'll go for a 2-yard loss, setting up 3rd down and 11 on the physical tackle by Carter McGregor. C.J. McGregor checks in for Carter McGregor. Matt Besch in along the defensive line for Bishop Garrigan. But that West Bend Mallard versus North Union game tonight, if West Bend Mallard wins, they are in the playoffs, and North Union is eliminated. If North Union wins tonight, they would make the playoffs with a win next week against Northwood-Kensett. Those two teams battling for that final playoff spot in this district. Tiedemann sends a couple of men over to the right. He rolls out to the right on the snap. Schwab contains him. Tiedemann throwing into the end zone for his tight end, Bainey. Fight for the football, Furch, and it is incomplete. Furch had 2 bear claws on that football right there as that ball was slightly underthrown. Not a bad idea, though. Trying to take a shot to your 6'3" tight end, one-on-one with the 5'11" Tate Furch, but Furch, strong hands there, and the ball falls incomplete. Not a quick scoring update as well in the Class A. It's West Hancock on top of West Fork right now, 21-6. West Fork was actually ahead for a good amount of that first half, 6-0, but West Hancock has scored 3 straight unanswered touchdowns in that ball game to pull ahead 21-6. Another team that a lot of Garrigan fans in our area like to keep an eye on is Garrigan no longer plays West Hancock, of course, being an 8-man, but those two teams always matching up on the JV gridiron. As we have a pre-snap penalty, it appears that Bishop Garrigan was drawn off sides, and they were, so it'll be a 5-yard penalty, 4th and 11 now turning into a 4th down and 6 for Northwood-Kensett. They've got to get the ball to the 4-yard line in order to get a 1st down. In the current district, though, Bishop Garrigan and Riceville, those are your top 2 teams right now as far as the playoff standings are concerned. And like we said, it's North Union and West Bend Mallard trying to battle for that 3rd playoff spot. The top 3 teams in each 8-man district getting into the postseason, plus 2 at-large teams from around the state. those 32 total teams. And now they're going to change it to a false start. They originally announced offsides on Bishop Garrigan, but now, after further discussion amongst the officials, they will back it up to the 19-yard line of a false start at Northwood-Kensett. And you have forfeit, almost impossible here. Ball's at the 19-yard line. Vikings are going to have to try to push the ball down the field to get a first down. Watch for Bainey, the 6'3" tight end, split out to the left. Tiedemann in the gun as his heels are back at the 26-yard line. Tiedemann to throw. Here comes Kramer. Tiedemann unloads, looking for Bainey. One-on-one of Joyce, and it's into the pocket of Bainey for the catch. Joyce had sticky covers that time, but that ball perfectly dropped in to the hip pocket on the right side of Bowen Bainey. He makes his first touchdown catch of the year, and Northwood-Kensett's on the board. That'll make the score 55-6. That is Tiedemann's 4th touchdown throw of the season. Boy, how about that on a 4th down and a mile to go, about 16 yards. That pass will go for 19 yards into the end zone. And Bishop Garrigan has allowed an offensive touchdown by the opposing team for the first time in 12 quarters. Quentin Butler to tack on the point after. He's made 9 out of those 14 attempts so far this season. The snap is high. What a hold, though, as the kick is up and good. That was over the shoulder of the holder, Henry Hansen, the freshman backup quarterback for Northwood-Kensett. He had an incredible hold, athletic play to reach almost behind his ear hole, bring the ball back down to the center, and Northwood-Kensett blocked that one up well enough where Bishop Garrigan couldn't get in to block it, as that'll make the score 55-7. So Vikings get a productive drive there on offense, and we now have 5:04 remaining in quarter number 3 with the score 55-7. Another score update. GTRA on top of Kingsley Pearson, 20-14 right now. So that's going to be a high-scoring game here, folks, with GTRA in the lead in that one by 6. So we've been getting a few score updates here tonight. Big thank you to Eric Deegan. He's running the camera for me tonight and feeding me a few of these scores from around the state. Some other games of note in the area. In this one, it's 55-7. Bishop Garrigan on top of Northwood-Kensett. But I was going to give you the update, folks. People always ask me, why couldn't Beanie make it tonight? Where is he at right now? And, of course, as per usual, we've got a perfectly logical explanation for why Beanie Bodie could not make it to this football game tonight. We'll tell you after this kickoff as Bowen Bainey will kick right to left on the radio dial. Bainey into the football, end over end towards the far side of the field, and this one is heading out of bounds. So kickoff out of bounds penalty on Northwood-Kensett will give us a perfect opportunity to let you know where Beanie is. He actually was originally planning to join me tonight, believe it or not, folks. And he was going to drive his combine all the way here to Northwood. He was going to show it off for everyone. Brand new combine, ready for the harvest, driving it all the way from Algona to Northwood. But unfortunately, Beanie was speeding in that combine, and he got pulled over in Britt, so he couldn't make it tonight. So sorry to hear that for Beanie, but you've got to follow the laws of the road, otherwise you're going to get pulled over. Not a quick scoring update. Kingsley Pearson just took the lead over GTRA, 22-20, as Kingsley just scored a touchdown in that one. So Beanie, though, couldn't make it here tonight. That combine, though, even though you folks couldn't see it here tonight in Northwood, that is a thing of beauty. Hard to believe it's street legal, but believe me, folks, it goes 0-60 in 2 hours as McGregor gets through the right side. He's across the 35-40, 35-30. There goes C.J. McGregor running down the sideline. He throws the stiff arm, and he's in for the touchdown. C.J. McGregor stayed in bounds the whole time and takes it to the house. Well, I'm busy rambling on about Beanie Bodie. That was a tremendous run by C.J. McGregor. He got to the edge, and he turned on the Jets, finding that next gear for Bishop Garrigan. McGregor will take that one 55 yards for a score, and it'll be 61-7 here with the running clock going down to 4:30. That is C.J.'s second rushing touchdown of the night. Both of them big explosive plays. He also had one called back due to penalty as the PAT by Gage Meyer is going to be no good. So PAT no good, and the score will stay at 61-7. We'll break for a 30-second timeout and come back after this on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
C.J. McGregor of his second rushing touchdown of the night and 4th of the season as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears now leading the Northwood-Kensett Vikings by a count of 61-7. It's been a productive rushing season for the Golden Bears of over 268 yards on the ground per game, and seems that they will be approaching that tonight before too long. It's another squib kick bouncing towards the near side and just diving on top of the ball. And not returning the ball will be Schutz. Aiden Schutz, the Northwood-Kensett sophomore, one of the blockers there covering that ball at the 25-yard line. And the Vikings, after scoring a touchdown on their last drive, will try to do that same thing here. Looks like at least one more drive for the Bishop Garrigan first-team defense as we approach the 4-minute mark of quarter number 3. A 61-7 advantage for Bishop Garrigan as the Vikings come out. Ball on the left side hash. Big defensive line with Kramer and Besch in the middle for Bishop Garrigan. Back to throw, Tiedemann unloads quickly left side to Bainey, and that throw is behind him and incomplete. That's one where if you put it a little more towards the sidelines, Bainey's catching that easily and skittering out of bounds for about a 5-yard gain. Dalton Clems is out there in coverage, though, and that throw is behind Bainey, forcing him to turn about 180 degrees to get his hands on the ball as it falls incomplete. As we always say about Bishop Garrigan, though, they force you to do things you don't want to do on offense. Most of these teams they face are run-based teams that don't really want to throw a whole lot, but Bishop Garrigan's getting these teams in spots where if they're used to throwing it maybe 5 times a game, they've got to throw 15, even 20 times. As Robinson motions, reading is Tiedemann, taking it to the near side. Tiedemann looking for blocks, and getting off his block and making the stop is Weston Rosenmeyer. Boy, Rosenmeyer is being held up there on the left side in some tough one-on-one blocking. Close to a hold there, but he shed his block just in the nick of time, and he popped Tiedemann on that carry, holding him to maybe a half-yard gain. We'll say no gain, in fact, as the ball will stay at the 25-yard line. Weston Rosenmeyer, you can't talk enough about this whole Garrigan defensive line, but he's another guy who's having a really good night for Garrigan. A pick earlier tonight, several tackles for minimal gains, and a 3rd down and 10 now for the Vikings with the ball on the left hash. Bainey's the right side tight end, Ryerson on the left. Tiedemann has Tufty and Robinson to the left as well as he's looking to throw. Here comes pressure. He'll sling it over the near side of the field, and then it falls incomplete at the 35-yard line. As no intended receiver in the area. So 4th down and 10 for the Vikings as they will go 3 and out here and bring Bainey on to punt. Bainey scrambled up the gut on that last drive, extending the drive for Northwood-Kensett on that fake punt, which he ran down to inside the Bishop Garrigan 15-yard line. Golden Bears will likely be a little more ready for that now. They don't have anyone back deep to receive, and that may be why Bishop Garrigan's calling a timeout here. So Garrigan will take a timeout. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout as well as the Golden Bears lead 61-7 here in Northwood with 2:10 left in quarter number 3.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
Northwood-Kensett in punting formation right now. Michael Joyce back deep to receive for Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears are going to play it a little more safe here. They're keeping Carter McGregor back a few yards off the line of scrimmage in case Bainey tries to scramble again. Bainey, if his heels inside the 15-yard line, he will unload the punt. It's a line drive towards Joyce. Joyce waves for the fair catch and dives on it at the 20-yard line. Joyce did have a lot of room to roam there, but he had to go down to his knees to make the catch anyway, so he is down at the 20-yard line, and that is where Bishop Garrigan will begin this drive, and we are going to see the reserves take over now for the rest of this ball game with Bishop Garrigan on top 61-7. Jared Graves has been leading that second-team offense for the Golden Bears. Then along the offensive line, you've had the likes of Sawyer Herrick, Matt Besch in there as well, and Noah Schaefer. Carter Sink's been a running back, getting a lot of carries in the second-team offense, and Leo Snyder also joining in amongst the skill position players with Jack Moeller completing the Bishop Garrigan lineup. Graves will come out in the shotgun as he will send Bohanik over to the left. Has Sink on his left hip. Graves, the freshman, puts the ball into the belly of Sink. Sink breaks one tackle in the backfield, but he's hit by Dukeman along the line of scrimmage, and Alec Dukeman will drop him for maybe half-yard loss back inside the 20-yard line. So they call that yards after contact. That's a good broken tackle in the backfield, but you had a second man knifing in there right as well for Northwood-Kensett. Dukeman, who's been a really solid defensive lineman for them with 5.5 TFLs this season and 4.5 sacks, setting up a second down, and we'll call it 10.5 for the Golden Bears. Bishop Garrigan sends Carson Seidel to the short side of the field to the right. In the shotgun is Graves. Graves running towards the left side, and he is hit in the backfield hard and dropped. Good pursuit along the sideline by Aiden Schutz as he drops Graves for a 4-yard loss. Bishop Garrigan tried to pull their guard Sawyer Herrick, but Northwood-Kensett had multiple guys rallying to the football, and they pushed Bishop Garrigan back to a 3rd down and 14. down to the final 30 seconds in this quarter. Bishop Garrigan will check Sean Tilgis into the ball game as he is going to replace Bohanek. Graves will run into the play. We'll see if Garrigan gets the snap off here. They're down to 15 seconds. They come up to the line of scrimmage and send Seidels over to the right. Graves lifts that right leg. The freshman takes the snap. He will read and he'll keep it. That fooled the defense. Graves to the near side to the 20, but great recovery on the play by Dukeman to chase him down at the 19-yard line and hold Graves to a 4-yard run. Looked like a lot of open green grass initially there for Graves as he had the defense fooled on that read, but Dukeman was able to get off his block and chase down the quarterback to force a 4th down. So it's 4th down for Bishop Garrigan. The punting unit will come on when the next quarter begins. As we head to the 4th, it's Bishop Garrigan 61 and Northwood-Kensett 7 on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Weichert Realty, the 515 agency. A fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
As we begin the 4th quarter, Jared Graves is in punt formation for Bishop Garrigan. Colton Robinson back deep to receive for Northwood-Kensett. As Graves will line drive the football, it'll skip at the 40-yard line, that is, and take a very friendly Garrigan roll. An additional 17 yards on that roll all the way down to the 24-yard line of Northwood-Kensett. That one bounces and takes a very friendly Garrigan hop, so we'll see that Garrigan second-team defense here against the Viking offense to begin quarter number 4. So Vikings off to a 4-2 start to the season, their most wins since 2021. Will take their 3rd loss here tonight, but potentially a chance to play spoiler next week against North Union should the Warriors win against West Bend Mallard tonight. In the shotgun, it'll be Tiedemann. He has Robinson and Tufte over to the right side. As Tiedemann takes the high snap, looking to throw, he guns it over the middle and it's incomplete. Robinson was amongst a thicket of the defenders that time as that ball skips in at his feet, setting up 2nd down and 10. Well, not only is it a big week for high school football, we've got both of our college teams in action as well. Iowa heading to Wisconsin for this one. Camp Randall Stadium coming up tomorrow night. Wisconsin, a team that seems to be in a little bit of crisis right now, so Iowa catching them at a pretty good time here. We'll see if the Hawkeyes are able to get a big Big Ten win coming up tomorrow. And then, of course, the Iowa State Cyclones, they're heading for the thin air of Boulder, Colorado to take on Coach Prime and the Buffaloes tomorrow afternoon as well. As here's the handoff to the fullback, Tufte. Tufte full out of steam, breaks the tackle. He's into the secondary, and he is held up by Carson Seidels, the last man on defense for Bishop Garrigan. Tufte picks up the gain of about 13 yards, just shy of midfield to the 37, and moves the change for the Vikings. If he gets past Seidels there, the other 7 guys on defense are well behind the play, and Tufte's taking it to the house. Instead, he'll settle for a solid pickup to get the 1st down. Well, it's another reason Beanie's not here tonight. I always ask for his pick in the Cyclone game, and he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to make the pick when the Cyclones take on Coach Prime. As there's a jump along the left side for Northwood-Kensett. Jackson Ryerson, that left tight end, was the guilty party to false start on that one, as the Vikings will back it up 5 yards to their own 32-yard line. Well, we've been giving you updates throughout the night on that GTRA versus Kingsley Pearson game. GTRA has scored again to go up 26-22. And that game's still in the first half right now, folks, which just goes to show how big of a running clock makes a difference. We're in the 4th quarter here, as Garrigan almost jumped off sides, and maybe they did. That was a hard count by Northwood-Kensett. It was C.J. McGregor, or check that, Noah Schaefer coming across the line of scrimmage. Or a wide Schaefer, that is. I'll get it right on the 3rd try, folks. The double number 22 is in the Garrigan roster always gets me. So the offsides by Bishop Garrigan will give the Vikings the 5 yards back and move the ball back to the 37-yard line. But defensively for Garrigan, you've got Wyatt Schaefer playing one of those interior line positions. Muller's on the end. as is Hayden Miller. Tiedemann with the give to Robinson. Robinson off the left side. He's across the 40 and is able to get positive yardage into Bishop Garrigan territory to the 39-yard line. Carter Sink makes the stop for Bishop Garrigan. Another one of those guys on the second team who's been flying around so far this season. Sink, the young sophomore, gets a lot of carries on the second team offense and plays in that linebacker spot on the second team defense. You also have Leo Snyder manning the interior line for Bishop Garrigan. Seidels is in the secondary, as well as Milo Giving. Here's the run to the right side to Tufty. Tufty gets hit hard as he is knocked down at the 35-yard line. More positive yardage as he gets lassoed to the ground by Carter Sink. You also had Schaefer coming out of the blue for Bishop Garrigan to make the stop. And the Vikings, with 8:11 left in the fourth quarter, will have third down and 2 yards to go. Well, we mentioned Northwood-Kensett. They'll play North Union next week. Bishop Garrigan, they'll be back at home next week, and we'll try to lock up that 8-0 regular season record as they'll take on West Bend Mallard. Here's the give through the middle by Robinson. Robinson churning the legs, driving forward and picking up the first down. Even for the score 61-7 right now, that is a good physical run by Colton Robinson, picking up those tough interior yards and moving the ball down to the 31-yard line. But it will be very fascinating to see how things shake out tonight, where all the dominoes fall as far as the district's concerned. Will all three playoff spots be determined after tonight, or will there still be something up in the air next week? That, of course, depends on that North Union West Bend game that's going on here tonight. Power I formation for Northwood-Kensett. Ball's on the right hash. Give will go to the tailback Robinson. Robinson, space to the middle, across the 25. Crawls his way forward to the 23-yard line and has a pair of Golden Bears on his back. Seidel's making a stop for Bishop Garrigan, but Robinson continues to get positive yardage, setting up a second down and 3 yards to go after the 7-yard pickup. Bishop Garrigan runs Noah Schaefer into the defensive line as the Vikings try to march down for their second touchdown of the night. The first one coming on a strike by their quarterback Alec Tiedemann to the tight end Bowen Bainey. But it's been several turnovers tonight, dooming the Vikings. And dominance up front by this Bishop Garrigan line is trouble for the snap. Ball's loose on the ground, and it is covered up as it rolled over the left side. Tufty got back on top of it for Northwood-Kensett. There was just a little trouble there on the quarterback-center exchange, and they shoveled the ball sideways almost, but fortunate for them that Tufty gets back on top of it. The loss will go for about 2 or 3 yards back to the 25-yard line with 6:27 and ticking here in the fourth quarter, setting up a third down and 4 situation. Coming into tonight, Garrigan outscored their opponents 352-39 on the season. They're now over the 400-point scoring mark on the year of tonight's output. As Robinson motions, Tufty gets the handoff, and they almost got the Garrigan defense on that, but it was a great saving tackle by Sean Tilgis. You saw the Garrigan line kind of shoot up field there, and a brief seam appeared to emerge for Tufty, but Sean Tilgis got off his block and made a great stop there to stop that for no gain. If Tilgis doesn't make the stop there, Tufty might be going all the way to the house. It'll be a 4th down and 4 with under 6 minutes remaining in quarter number 4. As the Garrigan 2s try to hold strong here on defense. Tiedemann comes in running the Viking offense, as the Golden Bears are well on their way to their 22nd straight regular season win. Tiedemann underneath center with Tufty right behind him. Robinson goes in motion. Trouble again at the snap. Tiedemann recollects it. He runs off the left side. He gets away from one defender. He turns the corner. 15-10 and run into the boundary. Chased down by Milo Giving for Bishop Garrigan, but first down yardage for Tiedemann. Well blocked on that left side by the guard Brady Christensen. And the Vikings are inside the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. We did just get an update on the North Union versus West Bend Mallard game, as right now North Union blowing West Bend Mallard out, 34-0 in that one. So it appears the Warriors will keep their playoff hopes alive into next week. Remember, if North Union wins against West Bend Mallard tonight, then beats this Northwood-Kensett team next week, they would clinch the final playoff berth in this district. Underneath center, taking the snap is Tiedemann. Trouble in the backfield. He'll pitch it out to the right to Robinson. Robinson's wide open, and Robinson will take it in for a touchdown. Boy, great calm reaction that time by Tiedemann. The Golden Bear defensive line once again got right into the backfield. Tiedemann had to pitch that way out to the right with a man in his face. He probably pitched that one 15 yards to the right, but he put it right on Robinson, and there was nobody out there for Bishop Garrigan to make the stop as Robinson could have backpedaled into the end zone. Robinson, his 8th rushing touchdown of the season, his first tonight, and that'll make the score 61-13 as it's a fake on the 2-point conversion, running to the right side, looking for the edge, and unable to cross the pylon is the holder, Henry Hansen. Vikings try to get their holder to go around the right side that time, but Golden Bears defense was able to hem him in and stop the play. So 2-point conversion fails, but Northwood-Kensett does tack on their second touchdown of the night. Score now 61-13 here in the 4th with 4:37 remaining in this one. But Garrigan once again doing their thing here tonight. That's been one of the impressive things watching the Golden Bears play this season. Just week after week, you're blowing out these teams and you worry, well, one of these weeks is Garrigan going to slip up, maybe lose their focus a little bit for the way the blowouts have been going. But we've seen the same effort each week from the team. We've seen great execution for the most part each week from the team. And this Garrigan team, they've been predictable. You know what to expect. And I don't mean predictable like play calling or anything like that, but you know what kind of effort, what kind of performance you're going to get on a nightly basis. And we've seen a similar performance here so far tonight for the 61-13 score. Getting you another quick score update here. Our friends over in Britt, West Hancock on top of West Fork, 27-12 in that one, as we've gotten you a couple of score updates on that one tonight as well, up in Class A. Kicking it away, Bainey for Northwood-Kensett. The ball will skip away from the return man, and Garrigan's got to get on top of that at the 10-yard line. Hayes and Jacobson getting down there for Northwood-Kensett. Did he recover the ball? No, he did not. Boy, that was playing a fire for Bishop Garrigan. Brad Meister down there on the return had it skip away from him. And then I think he was hoping that ball was going to go out of bounds, and it didn't, and he had to dive on top of it late, right before Hayes and Jacobson got down there. So turnover averted for Bishop Garrigan, and the twos on offense here will get another drive with 4:36 left in this one. Bishop Garrigan's twos stalled out on their last drive, as Graves will run in here late for the play for the Golden Bears. Graves comes out underneath center. The lone setback is Carter Sink as he'll take the handoff. He's hit in the backfield. He's able to twist his way forward and gain positive yardage for Bishop Garrigan. Tried to spin out of the tackle there, but holding on for the stop was Schutz for Northwood-Kensett. Schutz had 30 tackles coming into tonight, picking up a few in this one, as Sink sets up a 2nd down and 7 to go for the Golden Bears. It'll be Sink once again. The tailback for Bishop Garrigan with Wyatt Schaefer in front of him. Here's the running play for Sink. Sink running for the left side. Sink, great yardage that time, gets across the 20, out to the 22-yard line. Eventually toppled over on the play by Tegan at Trenhill for Northwood-Kensett, and Bishop Garrigan moves the chains for the 1st down. So regular season rapidly winding down here. First night that we've had that's been a little bit of cool air outside as we see some people wearing sweatshirts, even a few hats out there in the stands tonight. Some jackets. Pretty warm here in the press box for us, but it's nice to have finally a fall night where the mosquitoes aren't eating you alive and you're not sweating here as you watch high school football. As Graves takes the snap from the left hash to give to the fullback, burst through the middle by Tilgis. He's across the 30-yard line, rips his way forward to the 34. Stopped on the play by Henry Hansen for Northwood-Kensett, but a nice explosive run up the middle there on the quick hitter to the fullback, Sean Tilgis. And Bishop Garrigan once again picks up a 1st down. We're down to 3:01 in this one. Or remind you folks that, again, we've got the Iowa High School Scoreboard Show coming up at 10 o'clock on our sister station, KLGA 92.7 FM. I'll be sending in my update on this Garrigan game as per always, and we appreciate the folks at the Scoreboard Show for playing our updates here and for everything they do on each Friday night. Of course, likely at the end of this one, once we wrap up the post game, the Algona versus Sioux Center game will likely not be over as there's a handoff in the backfield. Ball came out. It was not a clean exchange between Sink and Graves. Vikings are claiming they have the ball, and they do. Bishop Garrigan will fumble the football and turn it over as Sink just never had control of that ball with the handoff between he and Graves, as the Vikings will now take over here at the 36-yard line of Bishop Garrigan with 2:16 remaining in this one. So Scoreboard Show tonight, 10 o'clock on KLGA. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we'll have breakfast with the coaches. We'll break down the local football action from around the area, talk a little volleyball and cross country as well in that program tomorrow morning. Back at its normal 9:05 time. And trust me, everyone's glad about that, folks. I've been telling the coaches a couple times this season to move it up to 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock with the early start times for Iowa State. Thankfully, Cyclones are in Mountain Time coming up tomorrow, and they'll be playing a bit of a later start, so we won't have to do that early start for the coaches' show. Here's a handoff to the fullback who is buried in the backfield, but a flag comes in. Sean Tilgis was able to wrap up the fullback Tegan Trenhill for a big loss. And it's going to be a personal foul on the defense, though, for Bishop Garrigan. So personal foul, face mask will go against Bishop Garrigan. And that is going to be the 15-yard variety rather than the 5-yard variety, as the negative play will be wiped off here. The Vikings will march to the edge of the red zone off the Garrigan penalty, down to the 21-yard line. Well, I will say one focus tonight for Bishop Garrigan, you heard it from their coaching staff going into this one, was we have to improve our tackling. They were not happy with the tackling performance last week against North Union. Seems to be an improvement tonight. Much less broken tackles for Northwood-Kensett as Trenhill tries to stretch to the edge. Flag comes in, likely a holding on the Vikings, as Tilgis is able to push Trenhill out of bounds along the far side. But that flag came in right at the point of attack on the block, right where you think a holding would be occurring. As we're down to 120 in this one. Garrigan's defense trying to keep this one at a 61-13 score, as the Viking offense is already backed up. It will go as a holding against Northwood-Kensett, as that'll back them up to the 31-yard line. Again, next week, Vikings will try to finish above 500 as they'll play North Union. Bishop Garrigan will try for the 8-0 regular season for the second year in a row, wrapping up with West Bend Mallard next week. As Hanson's underneath center. Hanson is back to throw for the deep drop. He'll gut it near side, and he sailed it over the intended receiver's head, but it'll be pass interference on Bishop Garrigan. They'll say giving bump to the back that time of Hazen Jacobson, the intended receiver. And that did appear to be some early contact on Bishop Garrigan. So we've seen a few drives here stall out, or I should say be helped out by Bishop Garrigan penalties late in this game with the twos in. And with that penalty, it'll be spotted at the 14-yard line for Northwood-Kensett. So Vikings have the ball on the right hash. We're down to the final 56 seconds in this one. Hanson comes out underneath center, has Trenhill right behind him. Hanson will give it to the back on the left side, as taking it around is Tufty for a couple of yards. And it'll be second down with 40 seconds left in this one. Well, I've got bad news, folks. If you want to get Beanie Bodie back, it might be hard to get him. I've just been informed that without Fat Bear Week, Beanie has no purpose. Come on, Beanie, you've got more of a purpose than just Fat Bear Week, although we did enjoy Fat Bear Week coverage the past 2 weeks here on our KLGZ broadcast. Hanson looked like he was going to kneel on it. He'll take it instead. He'll scramble around. He's hitting the backfield, and he is dropped for a loss. Getting in there to make the tackle was Noah Schaefer for Bishop Garrigan. The Vikings came out like they were going to take a knee. They tried to run one more play, as we now take under 10 seconds left in this one. Final time run off the clock, and it's a 7-0 start to the season for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. They roll tonight in their final road game of the regular season, defeating Northwood-Kensett 61-13 in this one. With the win, Bishop Garrigan moves to 7-0, and it is official. They are heading to the postseason, as the Golden Bears will try to finish off the perfect regular season coming up next week against West Bend Mallard. Northwood-Kensett, they will fall to 4-3 in the season. They are now eliminated from postseason contention with the loss here tonight. We'll step aside for a timeout. We'll get to some postseason coverage and award our player of the game. It's all coming up next on KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Thank you to these sports club members making this broadcast possible.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Strowman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying Steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
All bringing you this broadcast. More sports club members bringing you this game.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Oak Crest Funeral Service, celebrating a life lived.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840 or schindlerlawncare@gmail.com.
Signworks Inc. for all your signage needs and printed apparel. Stop in or call 295-9544.
All sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
As we come back to wrap things up here on Home Country Radio, KLGZ 98.5 FM at AM 1600, it's Bishop Garrigan winning tonight over Northwood-Kensett 61-13 as the Golden Bears move to 7-0 on the campaign. Northwood-Kensett will fall to 4-3. Wrapping things up with a couple of quick final notes. Once again, scoring all around for the Golden Bears. They get above that season average point total here tonight, as offensively things started out with a bang early in the game. Tate Furch once again finding Weston Rosemeyer's tight end on Bishop Garrigan's first drive for the deep shot, as that got the Golden Bears in front early. That was following a following a 3-and-out there by the Bishop Garrigan defense. Then the first pick of the night came after that. Carson Kramer had the interception, led to another Garrigan touchdown as Marceau would score his first of 2 rushing touchdowns of the night. After that, Tate Furch added a rushing touchdown. We saw Carter McGregor score 1. CJ McGregor added 2 on the ground as well, and then Tate Furch hit a touchdown pass to Michael Joyce for these scoring plays here in tonight's ball game as Bishop Garrigan wins this one 61-13. Overall, though, I'd say goal accomplished for Bishop Garrigan. You've got one of your longer road trips of the season, second longest to that Riceville road trip the Golden Bears had to take in week 2, but they came out, they looked ready to play right from the get-go. You talked about important things in this game: good tackling, good assignment sound football, not getting caught off track by the severe that Northwood-Kensett runs, anything of the option game, and it seemed like the Golden Bears had that planned out really well tonight. It was actually fun to watch in the pregame. You saw Jared Graves in the second team offense. They were running that veer play, they were doing the option, they were getting the first team guys reps against that and ready to go, and I'm sure they were doing that exact same thing all week in practice. So, of course, it's hats off to the starters for that well-executed plan, but I'd imagine this was one of the bigger challenges for the Garrigan scout team to imitate this Northwood-Kensett offense with just how unique it is compared to some of the teams Garrigan's seen so far this season, and get these starters ready for that tonight. But overall, you knew this would be a tough night in the trenches for Northwood-Kensett. Just a big size advantage for Bishop Garrigan. You heard Viking coach Kate Hegstead talk about it in the pregame show, with just some trouble with runs going up the middle this season with some of the bigger interior line teams the Vikings have faced, and the Golden Bears certainly did that here tonight. Ran the ball extremely well, with even Marceau getting a few of those big early carries, and seeing a lot of CJ McGregor mixed in there as well tonight. And defensively, like I said, it was really all about the defensive line tonight. Vikings really did not get a whole lot going to the outside. Golden Bears did a good job of setting the edge. They kept most things going into the middle, and when you go run to the middle, you've got the 260-pound nose guard Carson Kramer waiting to make the stop for Bishop Garrigan. So a lot of things to like for the Golden Bears, and again, they will move to 7-0 on the season, heading into that final regular season game next week against the West Bend Mallard Wolverines. Well, as we wrap up things for tonight, we do have our player of the game to give out, as our player of the game brought to you by Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs.
Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs has a simple philosophy about the way they approach their business. Put people before the numbers. Before they can help you plan for a better financial future, they must have a thorough understanding of where you've been and where you want to go. They listen, then ask the important questions to build long-lasting relationships with their clients. They promise to know you and help you. Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs. They're more than just taxes.
Now, as we come back here for our player of the game, brought to you by Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs. Of course, each week we give a Golden Bear player who stood out on the gridiron this award. At the end of the season, they'll get a certificate courtesy of Erpeling Voigt & Company. And we're going to cheat again this week and give out co-players of the week. I could not choose just one, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll hear why right now. Of course, the first guy shouldn't come as a surprise at all. Folks, as soon as Carson Kramer got that interception, you knew I was going to give him player of the game. There was zero doubt about that. We had a defensive lineman interception by Kramer in the very early parts of this game in the first quarter. And it wasn't just that interception. Of course, that's the play that grabbed the headlines, but he was plugging up the middle all night long. Low rushing totals tonight for Northwood-Kensett, and Kramer was really just overwhelming that defensive line. So excellent night for Carson Kramer. He is our first player of the game for tonight. I'm also going to look elsewhere on the defensive line as well. Carter McGregor is also going to win player of the game for this one because Carter McGregor did a really good job setting the edge from the end position. You constantly saw him in the backfield rushing the quarterback when Northwood-Kensett dropped back to throw, and he's mobile enough to get to the edges as well if Northwood-Kensett tries to run outside. Carter McGregor also scored one of Bishop Garrigan's rushing touchdowns in the first quarter, so it was a really good night by Carter McGregor. He's another guy that has a lot of the small things, a lot of the dirty work for this Bishop Garrigan defense, and maybe that stuff goes underappreciated sometimes, but it won't go underappreciated tonight. So, again, huge night by the Garrigan defensive line. We could have given this award to a score of guys, but Carson Kramer and Carter McGregor, they are our co-players of the game for tonight, brought to you by Erpelding, Voigt & Company CPAs. We do have a couple of scores to update you on here before we sign off for tonight. First, across the town, the Algona Bulldogs have gotten back into the game against Sioux Center. Algona just scored a touchdown as they trail right now 21-13, just starting the fourth quarter at Algona High School. That is a must-win game there for the Bulldogs as they were down 21-0 early, but have now rallied to a score of 21-13. Right now at the half, or at least just past halftime, GTRA is on top of Kingsley Pearson 26-22 in a game of two top 10 ranked teams in the 8-player class. And we gave you some West Hancock updates tonight. West Fork is actually hanging in there tonight against the West Hancock Eagles as West Fork currently trails West Hancock 27-20 in a one-possession game there. If you want more scores, you have to listen to the Scoreboard Show tonight at 10 o'clock on 92.7 KLGA because, folks, that's all I've got for tonight. As always, big thank you to our video streaming sponsors, all our sports club members making this broadcast possible. This has been a sports production of Home Country Radio and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Your final tonight, Bishop Garrigan 61 and at Northwood-Kensett 13.